Time, everybody over on TikTok, guys, make sure that we're double tapping. And hello, welcome into the stream for everybody tuning in on YouTube. It is so good to have every single one of y'all joining us for the day. Let me know down below in that YouTube chat how the mic sounds. I'm honestly just trying to figure out if it sounds good or not. There's usually a long list of technical difficulties when I am connecting the mic to the phone and to the computer. So let me know if it sounds good. But anyways, it is so good to have everybody tuning in, and thank you so much for being here. If you haven't been here before and you don't know what we do, we basically just debate Trump supporters until we rage quit, which typically happens at around that 3 to 4 hour mark. However, today, 4 to 5 hour mark. However, today we're going to be getting off at around 3 hours because I have some stuff to do this evening with the fam and the girlfriend. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the first debate. We actually had a Trump supporter loaded into the live stream for us to talk to, but as I was doing my intro there over on YouTube, they left. I guess he didn't want to talk. He was pretty scared of me. So whatever. We're going to go to get that next guest, Joel, up here. What's going on, man? Are you MAGA?
Yeah.
Okay, and how old are you?
54.
54. You're around my dad's age. Crazy. Okay. Mr. Joel, why the hell do you support
Joel?
Trump?
Yeah, I don't have 2 L's and an E on my name.
Sorry, Joel.
Thank you.
So why the hell do you still support Donald J. Trump, one of the worst presidents of either of our lifetimes, as president today?
Well, if you really feel like he's the worst president ever, just imagine how much shittier your candidate was losing to that. I mean, that's a bad look, right?
Do you think that Trump was better than Biden in 2020?
Yeah.
Well, I could just use that same logic against you. Imagine how shitty Trump was because Biden won.
Well, I don't really think that was something that we could ever prove was fair. I'd like to know where the 20 million
you're going to get your account banned.
I just got to 20 million
I got to stop you right there. You're going to get your account banned. I appreciate your language. Prove it was, I appreciate your language there. Saying, Joe, I'm going to go
why
ahead.
Is it that
I put you on mute because I'm talking. I appreciate your language there, saying that we can't prove it's fair. I mean, that's a little bit abstract. I don't know if the TikTok guidelines will get you for that.
I could show you evidence really easily. Yeah, I mean, why is it, if that was a fair number that Joe got, right? Why is it that Kamala didn't get a single vote more? Yeah, she didn't get a single vote more than Joe in any county across the nation. Where did those 20 million votes go? Okay. Can you explain that?
Well, I mean, I think that we could offer various hypotheses insofar as why less people showed up in 2024 compared to 2020. However, like none of these hypotheses would indicate that somehow 2020 was unfair. And we know that 2020 was fair because of the incessant.
More
so you're interrupting me again. You told me that you were 54. Can you act it?
Well, I mean, Kay totally cooked you. He's my friend. He totally destroyed you on the AB debate. You didn't know what the hell you were saying.
I mean, it sounds like you believe in a lot of things that just are evidently false, and you don't really want to have a conversation with me either, right? Because you made a claim there about 2020. I'm trying to respond to it. You cut me off midway through. I asked you to allow me to finish, and then you started talking about something else. You're all over the place, old man.
Oh, I'm all out of place. Let's stay focused then, okay? I'll prove to you that Democrats are modern day slavers. How about that? It's really easy to prove.
How about I respond to your first claim, and then you can make another ridiculous claim after I respond to your first
that's the only claim I've got. Let's focus on that. No, that's the only one I'm making.
That's not the only claim that you've gotten. Your first claim was very simple, and I'd like to go ahead and attempt to respond to it. You asked me, well, why did Harris get less votes than Biden in every single county? I'd like to respond to that first. So I could offer various hypotheses insofar as why that happened. However, without knowing why, we could rule out the potential explanation of 2020 being unfair because of point number one, the incessant audits and investigations that were done on the 2020 election, both by Trump himself, by Trump's cronies, by independent organizations, and so on. What these audits continually proved on the local, state, and federal level was that it is the most fair election in recorded American history. Donald Trump paid a group of people millions of dollars to find any evidence of widespread unfairness, if you're catching my drift. And then he took all the evidence he could find to 63 handpicked courts. They all told him he didn't even have enough evidence to open a case. And if you want to say, well, they were Democrat judges, 34 of them were appointed by Republicans. Then you want to say they're rhino judges, 17 of them were appointed by Trump himself. There's just simply no defense to the claim that 2020 was unfair. And to follow it up, because so far we've gone over the actions of Trump, his cronies, and organizations, when we look at what the citizens did to try to find any evidence of widespread unfairness in 2020, we look no further than the 2000 Mules documentary, which was the culmination of all of MAGA's efforts to prove Trump was right and 2020 was unfair. Well, then you had the founders, the makers, the directors, and the producers of the 2000 Mules documentary go to court and just admit that they had no evidence for their claims. So it's just a big delusion.
Yeah. Wow, that was a bunch of gish galloping nonsense that didn't answer the question, did it? What does that have to do with her not getting a single vote over Joe in any single county?
Because
that
didn't answer to explain why
at all. It didn't answer at all.
I could explain how it did.
No, you didn't. You didn't explain anything.
Yeah, I'll explain how that's an answer.
You're better than this, Dean. I thought you were better.
Well, I just don't think that you're good enough to even comprehend my response, and that's why you're confused.
You didn't explain why she didn't get a single vote in any county over Joe. You just went on about the past election.
So what I did was pretty clear. What I did was I told you that we could posit various reasons why that might have occurred. However, just because I may not have one for sure, this doesn't mean that we can't rule out some potential reasons, such as the idea that 2020 was unfair, right? So basically, we just ruled out that as a potential reason. And do you see the violation that's on your phone screen right now?
Yeah, no, I don't have a violation. Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
Really? Why are you lying?
I'm lying? I don't see anything on my...
Did you just forget that I could screenshot?
Oh, are you guys flagging?
So why did you lie about not getting this?
I didn't get any notice. I don't know
yeah, when I get a notice, so do you.
That's great.
Why did you lie about not getting that, Joe?
Well, I didn't see that. I'm sorry. Don't know what to tell you. Maybe TikTok had a mistake. I mean, I can imagine your entire 3,000.8 views.
Why would he lie about that? I don't know. Like, did you think that he was the only one that got notice of his violation, that I didn't get one? Oh my goodness gracious. All right, we're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everyone. Just do give us a minute while we're working on getting that next guest loaded up into the box. Everybody, we got nice guy loading up, and we had to kick him because of a violation. Unfortunate, because I was cooking him, and it would have been fun to finish. Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
I want you to convince me not to.
Okay, all right, that's fair. I could definitely try to do that.
20 years old,
so why do you?
Well, I feel like I lean on right views.
Okay,
but I'm not too educated, so I want you to convince me not to.
But what views are conducive towards a pro-Trump worldview?
Can you give me a example?
Are you just asking me to give you reasons why he's a bad president?
No, can you give me a topic and I'll tell you my view on it, and then you can tell me why that's wrong.
I mean, no. I get and the reason I'm saying no there is because I just want you to tell me what's important to you. Like for instance, if I bring up economic policy and then you give me your view on economic policy and then I tell you why that's a bad view, maybe at the end of the day economic policy isn't a really big concern to you. So if you want me to be able to attempt to convince you to no longer support Trump, you have to be able to tell me what's important to you, your values, and why you personally support him as president. And I can tell you why you're likely wrong. By the way, I'm going to go to pause real quick. I will be able to hear you while I'm on pause, so just continue to talk.
Okay, I was just gonna say I feel I want to hold a lot of traditional values, and I guess that would make me conservative. And I feel like Kamala isn't the person to do that.
Okay, yeah. What traditional values?
Just I mean, it's gonna sound kind of bad, but I think a lot of this stuff I feel like feminism just makes women hate men, and I feel like.
Can you define feminism?
I know it's for equality for all, but I feel like that's just not the message that's being sent.
Okay, what message do you see in feminism propagating?
Men ain't shit.
Men ain't shit, according to who? Could you give me a couple examples of some feminists that just talk about how much men are just absolutely nothing?
Because bro, it's men. I know men did a lot of bad shit, and but we also did we also did most things. So obviously we're gonna do some bad shit.
Oh, okay. But let me make this clear. It's you just kind of gave us a setup for why some women, some feminists may kind of ironically say that men ain't shit, right? It's because there's a lot of men with these cocky, egotistical, narcissist complexes where you think that you're more important than everybody else because of what's in between your legs, and you literally think you have something different in between your legs. That not only are you not shit, but you're supposed to be the inferior, submissive follower of those that. Well,
I would say the thing between,
right? But like on a real note, like no, feminism doesn't propagate the belief that we should hate men. Okay, I'm a man and I'm a feminist. Feminism, in a nutshell, is just advocating for a disruption of systems of misogyny, such as the patriarchy, and advocating for more egalitarianism and equality for the genders and sexes, specifically for women.
Yeah, but okay, I understand that, but I feel like a lot of women nowadays think that staying home is like oppression, but I feel like that's not oppression. I feel like that's just how society works, and I feel like a man going out to work is also hard to do, just as hard as staying home.
Are you in the bath?
Nah, I was just washing my face.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not in the bath, but no, I feel like this is just how society works, and I feel like
yeah. So you're so you're saying that society just works in such a way that dictate that women should stay home.
Well, it also dictates that men have to provide.
So why should women stay home?
Well, I can ask you the same thing. Why should men have to work? Because this is how society.
Yeah, I disagree with the prescriptive gender norm.
Okay, hold on.
Men should be the leaders and the workers. I just
want to say this. First of all,
no. Respond to what I just said. You posited prescriptive gender norms that women should have to stay home, cook, clean, and raise the kids, so that men should go out, work, generate an income, and lead. Okay, why do you believe in these prescriptive gender norms? Why do you think that these should be the case?
I believe in America, so I believe in everyone has the choice to do whatever they want. But
wait,
I feel like
then you're equivocating because nobody like feminism. You gotta let me finish. Feminism. I just want to make this point clear. Feminism doesn't say it's wrong for a woman to be a stay-at-home mom.
I know.
Feminism just says it's wrong to posit that women should be stay-at-home moms.
But that's the thing. I feel like, yes, that's true, but I feel like that's not what people push. And I never hear a feminist say, oh, well, why do men have to work? Oh, why are men expected to work? I mean, we're expected to work because for such a long time, this is how society had to be ran.
Okay, I even dispute that. Give me any evidence that society had to be ran in such a way where the men had to be the leaders. Do you think that men are better at leading than women?
I think men are better at providing, usually.
Okay. Yeah, why do you think men are better at providing?
Well, I mean, okay.
Can I just real quick, who provided you life?
Women did.
Right.
Yes, and I think, and the point you made where men think that we're better.
And then also, I
have to let me talk.
I'm so sorry, man. There's just a lot that you're saying, and like every single time I respond to you, just kind of like snake out of it. So I want to make all my points very clear, right?
Okay,
and you were also just like
question and I'll respond.
Okay, so you were also like whining about saying that it's like feminism advocates for like the abolishment of prescriptive gender norms, specifically advocation for women to escape oppression under the patriarchy and for an abolition of the patriarchy as a whole and more egalitarianism / gender equality. And then you responded to that by saying, well, like I don't hear anybody saying like men shouldn't have to go out and work. Okay, right? Well then how about you get out there and fucking say it?
Well, because I don't believe in it.
Oh, right, because you actually do believe in those prescriptive gender norms. Holy fucking
yes, I
shit.
Do, because
why are you
getting mad at me?
So I just want to clarify that feminism as a whole is the advocation for the abolition of gender norms, right? Of prescriptive gender norms.
But that's not what they advocate for. All they talk about is women.
No, listen, absolutely not. I'm so sorry. Obviously, you've never been in my life before. Feminism isn't just simply talking about women. It's talking about what we need to do to ensure that women have equality, which necessarily entails conversations about talking about men.
Equality, bro.
You just described that you don't think women should have equality.
No, I did not.
Yes,
dude.
You did. You said that you think that men are better at providing than women.
I understand.
Like holding to this. No. Holding to the belief that men are better at leading / providing than women necessarily entails a lack of equality on behalf of men and women, because that would socially stigmatize women being in positions of leadership, women going into the workforce, women having high-paying positions, and would socially promote men being in those positions, essentially placing a glass ceiling for women in those roles.
Then why do they not dominate the workforce?
Why do women not dominate the workforce? Because of social stigma such as the ones that you just advocated for.
Okay, so why did it become to be like that?
Because of the social stigmas that you just advocated for?
Biology,
and because of like women literally not being able to legally go up and open a business, not being able to...
I understand
so it's funny because you were telling me to let you speak and now you're interrupting me 4 words in. So what will it be?
All right, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Okay.
You continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so there's a plethora of reasons, right, why we see a domination of men in like particular fields, right? The reason that we see a domination of men in particular fields has a lot to do with social stigma, such as the one that you just perpetuated, saying that men are better at performing in those fields. When you tell generations of humans that men are just simply better at performing in field X, when you say that men should be the only ones performing in field X, then you will see a disproportionate amount of men in field X, right? On top of the legal boundaries that have been the case in America and other countries around the world, such as the fact that before the 1920s women couldn't vote, such as the fact that before the 1980s women couldn't buy a credit card, open a bank account, or start a business, and such as the fact that before 1986 women couldn't even report rape in the context of marriage. All of these things are very important considerations insofar as why we see male domination in particular fields. But just because we see male domination in particular fields doesn't mean that men are actually better at performing in said fields. Like, for instance, if we were to trust your logic, it is true, and I'll give you an example. If we were to trust your logic that if men dominate in field X, then men are better at performing in field X, would you expect men to be better at surgery than women because 85% of surgeons are men?
That's one instance, though.
I'm just giving you an example. Yeah, examples
And
are
also,
one instances.
I'm talking about work that requires physical strength. Like men would be better at that. Therefore, there's more men doing it. Back then, a lot of jobs had to do with physical strength. That's why men usually did that, and that's why women usually stay home. What I'm saying is everything comes down to biology, and I feel like gender roles are a good thing. And I believe in America, so I do think a woman should be able to do whatever she wants, but I don't agree with the advocation for saying that that's oppression by her staying home. Because I feel like that kind of destroys gender roles. And I know you think gender roles are bad, but I think they're a very good thing. I think that men should be expected to work. They should be expected to work. And I don't think that's a bad thing. But as soon as I say women should be expected to nurture the family, oh, that's a bad thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay. Well, you avoided my question. The reason why you avoided my question is because it kind of refutes your logic. You suggested the theory that if men dominate in a field, then men are better at performing in the field, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, but you said one example.
Right.
I said,
right.
But
because we can only talk about one example at like one time.
Because I said surgery doesn't take physical strength.
So you think that physical strength makes you a better leader?
What did I have to say? What did I say about leading? I said workforce. Working at construction isn't leading.
Wait, point number one, not all jobs require a prerequisite of additional physical strength.
Yes, I know that. That's what I acknowledge that.
Okay, so with the acknowledgement that not all jobs require a prerequisite of physical strength, and then even like a disproportionate amount of jobs that do require a prerequisite of physical strength only require a low level of physical strength, kind of like disregarding the idea that because men are physically stronger on average, this means that men can outcompete women in the field on average because they just simply require a low level of physical strength that is below the threshold of the two averages. It kind of refutes your theory. Now, at a basis, you're trying to tell me that women should stay at home, cook, clean, and raise the kids because they're
But what did I also
physically
say about
strong
men?
on average?
What did I say about men?
Can you give me an argument for that belief?
What did I say about men?
I don't.
Like, this is the thing. You think I'm attacking women saying you have to stay home. First of all, I said they can do whatever they want. They have the freedom to do it. Also, I say men should also be expected to work. I think men should be expected to...
You're propagating
hold on.
prescriptive gender norms that I disagree with.
I think gender... But dude,
we're going to focus on one at
a
time. So once again, in a nutshell, is your argument that because men are physically stronger on average, women should stay at home and raise the kids.
I think that all of it comes down to biology, and this is how the world works for a reason, because it has to do with biology.
You're not answering my question.
Yes, I think that I think that men have traits that make them better at providing.
Okay, which ones?
Physical strength. I think that they have.
I don't think that physical strength is actually an indicator of how good you are providing in America today. Like, for instance, do you think that those with higher incomes will be able to provide than those with better than those with lower incomes?
No.
Wait, so you don't think that there's a relationship between your income and your ability to provide for your family?
Of course there is, but I feel like men have.
So then you would say that those with higher incomes. One second, I just want to clarify that. Therefore, you'd say those with higher incomes have a better ability to provide than those with lower incomes, right?
It depends, because if they do their job and they crack under pressure, then it's going to be hard to provide for a family.
You're not answering my question. I don't understand why you're not answering my question. My question is clear. Can you provide better for you and your family if you have a higher income compared to a lower income?
Yeah.
Right? I have a question. What are the high income jobs?
Here comes the
And
gotcha
what are the
question.
lower income jobs? Physical labor, or like being an executive and running a company as a CEO, or
Yeah, but
being
not
a
everyone
tech
has access.
developer slash software developer and working on a
But not
computer.
first of all, not everyone has access to that. Number one, okay. Number two, that could be ran by a man and a woman. So if a woman was a CEO and a man was a CEO, I'd say the man would have a better chance at providing
Okay, why?
because I feel like that's just how the world is. That's how biology is. We don't crack
Okay,
under
so
pressure.
what is the relevant biological
Okay,
distinction
Dean,
between
let me ask you
No,
this:
no, no,
if
no, 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 no.
women,
You're not gonna ask me shit, little boy. You're gonna answer my goddamn question. What is the
come on,
relevant
dude,
biological
I've been
distinction?
showing
Oh,
that.
come on, man. I'm so sorry that I'm holding you towards giving an argument. Shut the hell up and answer my
Well,
question.
dude,
What is
this
the
is called
relevant
debate
biological distinction between men and women that makes men better at running a company from a position of being a CEO compared to that of a woman?
because we don't crack under pressure.
Really? Did you know that A, women are biologically designed to deal with pressure or stress better than men? They have thicker dendrites in the context of their spine, giving them a greater ability to deal with and manage their emotions, such as stress. They were given this through evolution to deal with childbirth. Not to say that women have to give birth, just simply saying that because women do give birth, evolution gave them thicker dendrites in their spine, so they deal with stress easier. And we don't just see this on the biological level, as I've already suggested, but we also just see this in greater society. We see
Yes.
that a 75% of self-unalivings are committed by men compared to women because women have a higher EQ on average, which means they could better process and deal with their emotions because of this biological underpinning, as well as other reasons. We also see that men are more likely to abuse hard drugs as an unhealthy coping mechanism to deal with unprocessed emotions. Meanwhile, women are more likely to go to therapy and do it right. We also see that 92% of violent crimes are committed by men, when violent crimes have emotional response, emotional and irrational response to things such as pressure, stress, emotions, and so on, meaning that only around 8% are committed by women. We see that men are disproportionately likely to drunk drive. Men are disproportionately likely to recklessly
That would be
drive.
risk
But then when we
taking.
look at things that are indicative of working well under pressure, being intelligent, properly managing your emotions, like going to therapy, like performing well in school, getting good grades, getting a good degree, performing well under stress in particular fields such as surgery, doctors, STEM exploration, etc., we see that women dominate men. So this idea that somehow men are better equipped to deal with pressure compared to women is false biologically speaking and false socially speaking from what we see via these empirical outcomes that I just listed.
Okay. So to respond to that, I know you can say that, oh, most men alive themselves. I understand that, but you got to remember that most women are on antidepressants. Okay, number one. Also,
Wait.
you
That
say,
just is more
wait,
data.
Dean,
No,
I'll
no, no.
let you.
I gotta respond to that. That just gives me more data for my point. Yeah, instead of women jumping to like the most emotional and irrational conclusion, right? They instead step back and process their emotions in a mature manner. They go to therapy and they deal with it the way that adults are supposed to, compared to something such as self-unaliving. By the way, I don't want to just shit on this. I don't want to I understand that like self-unaliving is a very sensitive topic, and we want to have that level of seriousness surrounding it. But I do just also want to point out that it is significantly more rational and mature to go to a therapist, get on antidepressant, and take active steps towards increasing your mental well-being compared to self-unaliving, which is yet just another data point which would indicate that women deal with pressure, stress, and emotions better than men. But go ahead.
Okay, and then the second point you said was, oh, well, men have more testosterone on the drunk drive, bro. That would be like wouldn't that point to the fact that we're more blunt and aggressive and we're more risk taking, which would make a better leader? And you got to remember, dude, the fact, like, I know maybe now you can say it's less because we have technology and stuff, but back then, dude, you needed the physical strength, bro. And also, you say, oh, men aren't better leaders. Maybe women can lead in certain things, but overall, men are better, bro. If my girl is in like a tough situation, she wants me to lead it. Like this is just what women want.
Okay, great. Thank you
Oh,
so
here we
much.
go.
So you gave me two arguments there. Your first argument there was saying that men take more risks on average. Men are more aggressive on average, which you think makes them better at leading. And then your second argument was just simply to say that this is what women want. Okay. Well, it's funny because earlier you told me that women want feminism and feminism is bad. But
I
now
didn't
you're
say
telling
women want
but now you're
feminism.
telling me that women want men to lead, and because women want it, it must be true. So if you're just simply telling me that women's desires are the ultimate standard of truth, and women's desires on their own can be used as evidence for a conclusion being true, well then why wouldn't we want women to lead? Because if their desires are a standard of
answer.
evidence for things being true, and they're more likely to be rational and reasonable, they should probably be leading us. But I also want to respond to your first point there, arguing that men take more risks
Can I
than
respond to
women.
that first one?
No, because I'm going to respond to both of the 2 points. Sit down, shut up, and suck on your thumb like a good fucking 3-year-old,
You're
dude.
very disrespectful.
Holy shit. Now I'm gonna.
You're nasty. You're
Yeah,
nasty.
I'm definitely being a little bit disrespectful to you, but I'm also trying to respond to your points. Now I'm gonna go ahead and finish responding to your first point. You told me that men take more risks than women, and this somehow makes them better at leading. I would not argue that all risk taking would be indicative of one being better at leadership. I would only argue that reasonable/rational risk taking would make one better at leadership, and we have really good reason to believe this too. Would I say that somebody that is incredibly disposed towards irrational risks and drops their entire paycheck at a casino in Las Vegas is going to be better at leading than somebody that steps back, rationally concerns any particular set of circumstances, evaluates them, and finds good reason for or against a particular action? I would absolutely not say that the individual that is more predisposed towards irrational risk taking would be better at leading. So if you want to attempt to make an argument that men are better at leading because of something to do with risk taking, then you'll specifically have to give me an argument that men are better at rational risk taking than women.
Okay, but the number one thing that CEOs give as advice is risk taking.
Rational risk taking would be good advice for leadership ability. However, irrational risk taking would not be good advice for leadership ability.
Okay, but men have both of them, don't they?
So then give me any evidence that men are better at taking rational risks compared to women.
I would have to look something up. I don't know every single answer to everything.
Okay, so it seems like you have
Actually,
go
so
ahead,
sorry,
Adrian.
so sorry,
Wait, can I
dude. So sorry, man. Yeah, go crazy, man.
Adrian, do you want to speak or can I? What was
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first,
yeah.
Dean? What was
So,
the first point you made again? About Oh yes, I remember. Okay, so yeah, I believe. So you say, oh well, if women's desires mean something and women don't want to work or stay home, then we should just let them. But I feel like this is the problem. I feel like women don't actually want that. They just think they want that because feminism tells them that it's oppression and they're less for doing that.
Okay.
wait. So,
Wait.
do you think that the
Go.
only reason that you want to go to work and that you want to provide is also because of like social and cultural influences? Like, do you think that that's going to be something that's going to be like natural and innate within a man? Like, I have to let you
Yeah, I
know,
think
like
providing
the want
is
to, like have specifically money is not necessarily going to be derived from some like,
no, it's not specific
evolutionary
money.
biology.
No, it's not money. It's the fact that you can provide. Like as a man, I would like to grow up, and I would like to like base my life on providing for somebody because it gets kind of boring just living for myself.
Okay, yeah. So you do realize that this is, first of all, not necessarily going to be just a need that is inherently within men. A lot of women also want to do this, right?
Okay, but is it all women or most women, do you think?
I think that a significant amount of women, especially within the United States, are going to be very, very driven, yes, to not
Mm-hmm.
only just work, but also to provide for their
And
families,
that's
as we
that's
can see,
perfectly
like
okay.
statistically.
And that's what okay, so this is what I'm gonna say. That's perfectly okay. If women want to do that, they can do that all they want.
Wait,
My problem is
I'm so
I
sorry.
feel like
Real quick.
no, please.
No, I'm gonna
2
interrupt
seconds.
you. Sorry. Just quickly, why are we using like a supposition of other individuals' desires to demonstrate what is true and false of individuals' abilities? So point number one, there seems to be like no
Bro,
substance behind
Adrian
it.
just said that women don't want to do that, so she would be doing that as well.
So Adrian responded to your position by just simply demonstrating that it is the case that there's women who don't desire what you're describing they do desire, as a direct refutation to your point. I'm just simply refuting your point via other means, right? And the means that I think I'm going to use to refute your point here is the idea that you're trying to use individuals' desires or supposed desires as a calculation of what is true and false, specifically within individuals' innate abilities, okay? So point number one, right, you gave a very like rhetorical argument suggesting that although women say that they want feminism, they don't actually want feminism. This seems to be baseless and without reason, just another, assumption of the man about women. Now, point number two, even if it was the case that like a lot of women wanted men to lead them, I don't think that this would speak towards innate abilities. I think that this would speak towards greater social conditioning under systemic misogyny, the same way we saw great social conditioning under systemic racism, where like 150 years ago, like almost every white person desired to own a black person as property, right? Does this mean that it was an innate ability of a black person to be submissive and act as subhuman and property? No, this just
Yeah,
means
because
that we had racist
wanting
societal
a slave.
conditioning that caused and indicated like greater like desires within the people that fell victim to said social conditioning, right? And so I don't think that your argument here is good.
Okay, well, I didn't even finish my argument, but basically what I was saying is, I think feminism is changing the minds of women, and I think that women think that having babies is oppression, and that's a problem.
Okay, so somehow we were debating about how you think that men are better at providing than women. I give you a refutation to your argument, and then you just completely shift the argument. So
Because
how about I have a
all has to
question?
do with.
How about you quote unquote man up and you stay on one topic and you refute my points? Stop being a little beta and running away from my points that are just simply irrefutable because they're true. So once again, I'll go ahead and repeat your argument
Dude,
and
a
quickly
slave
repeat
is
my
different
counter
from
argument.
staying at
Right? So
home.
you suggested that there is like some innate desire that exists inside of women to have men lead them. Therefore, men are better at leading. Therefore, men are better at providing. Point number one, I believe that your points are without substance. You indicated that women just think that feminism is good. However, deep down, they want men to lead them. This seems like yet another baseless supposition on behalf of a man about women. And point number two, even if it was true that a lot of women wanted men to lead them, this wouldn't speak towards like innate abilities. This would more so speak towards social conditioning. We see that systems of oppression can socially condition individuals in defining like X, Y, or Z to be true. We see this all throughout history as it relates to various subjects, such as during American slavery, social conditioning conditioned individuals into seeing black individuals as property. Social conditioning conditioned individuals into seeing black people as aggressive. Social conditioning conditioned individuals into the belief that black women couldn't feel pain. Social conditioning conditioned individuals into a lot of false beliefs. But now you're telling me that somehow they finally got it right, and this social conditioning is conditioning individuals into a belief that is finally true. Well, I think that you're going to need to give me an argument that this belief is finally true by being able to clearly describe why you think men are better at providing / leading than women.
I think that they're better at providing for women because if you look throughout history, right, we needed physical strength to do these certain things. Also, Dean, I want to ask you something. Do you believe that men shouldn't protect women?
Okay. Well, once again, yet another question that serves as another pivot, right? Like I
I
don't
answered
understand.
your first question.
So because we have to have a back and forth dialogue about your claim that you think men are better at providing / leading than women. You can't just like say a sentence and then pivot off topic. I will happily engage with you on other subjects, as well as Adrian will happily engage with you on other subjects after it is the case that we could go one by one. So, okay, you've just now re-suggested that men are better at providing than women because they're physically stronger on average. So it is the case that in America today, not only is physical strength a necessary prerequisite towards providing for an individual, however, it's also the case that higher paying positions make you better at providing than lower paying positions. And we typically see that the higher paying a position is, the less physical strength is as a prerequisite to serve in the position, right? So if anything, today, there's a correlation between being better at providing and a lack of a necessity for physical strength.
So the fact that we needed physical strength back then kind of made us evolve. Like, so now that men are just better leaders because we needed to take these jobs for, I mean, most of human history. So now we have evolved like this.
Are you speaking about like specifically like hunter-gatherer societies?
I mean, you can say that. You can say when men had to defend the country. You know, when I'm walking with my girlfriend and some guy slaps her ass, you know, I gotta kind of, you know, do something about that. You know, it's just a category. Men do things to protect women. If a woman wants to work, it's America. She's allowed to do that. But the fact that you guys just deny gender roles is just.
Yeah. So really, really quick, I don't think necessarily just because a person is protecting another person that means that person is, you know, leading the other person. Like a good example we would use, you know, often to demonstrate this is just looking at, you know, the president and let's say, you know, his Secret Service. The president is still very much the leader of the country. The president is still very much, you know, leading all of these people. However, he is, you know, being protected by the people around him. So like within the case of, you know, you and your girlfriend. What?
The military would be part of the government, right?
Sure.
Okay,
would you
so
say that like the government specifically?
The government is our leaders. The military is part of the government. They protect.
Would you be able to
country.
name me like okay? So really, really quick, would you be able to name me like a single place within elected office in which you need to be physically strong in order to do your job efficiently or effectively?
In office? No.
Would you be able to name like one
Okay.
system of leadership anywhere in the world today where said positions of leadership are like
Military.
necessarily entailed off of physical
Military.
strength? Really, who's stronger, the foot soldier or the general?
The foot soldier or the general?
Yeah, who's stronger?
Probably the foot soldier.
Okay, and who's the leader?
The general, but they're still all a part.
There you go.
But they're still all a part of the government.
Yeah, but like the leadership structure within this part of the government is not determined on the basis of physical strength. If anything, right, the leadership structure within this part of the government has a correlation between a lack of physical strength and leadership. Like right now, who's the commander-in-chief of the military?
You tell me.
You don't know who the commander-in-chief of the military is?
Mm-mm.
Dude, how many branches of government are there?
I'm not sure. Can you tell me?
Bro, dude, we're talking to a rock. I mean, no shit, he's a raging misogynist, so that was a given. But there's 3 branches of government. You should probably learn that in high school. And the president is the commander-in-chief of the military. You should probably also have learned that in high school. Now, talking about the president, is there any prerequisite to be the president of physical strength?
No.
No. Would you rather have Trump as the president or like some like jacked 15-year-old on steroids that can bench 500 pounds?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that the president needs to have physical strength. I'm just saying that there's
but
many...
the president is the leader of the military.
Okay, but the military is part of the government, right?
Yeah, but this is like this gives us like no information about refuting.
does,
Right?
Yeah, that's like a
The military
There's
is
a
part of the
relationship
government.
between physical strength
Therefore,
and
the
leadership ability.
government defends us.
Okay, I don't. So like a part of the government, the DoD offers like national defense. So this fact has nothing to do with the fact that within the government and the military specifically, the leadership is not determined on the basis of physical strength. What are you yapping about?
It does determine it because military protects us. Therefore, are military not a higher position than civilians?
What?
The military protects us, bro. Because like,
Okay, what
wouldn't
does
you
this
say that the
have to do with
military
how we
is-
determine the basis of leadership within the military?
because if we're in a war, you wouldn't say that the military is leading the civilians.
So you would have generals leading the foot soldiers. The foot
Yes, but
soldiers
what are
would be
they
stronger than
controlling,
the
though?
generals.
But what are they
You'd have
controlling,
the
though?
president leading the generals. The president is less strong than the generals. I'm confused. Like the
Yeah,
people that are leading the military are less strong on average than those that are fighting in the military.
Okay, yeah, but the military, they still need the military to protect us.
So this has nothing to do with determining
It does,
if
though,
there's a
because
relationship
if
between
gender
physical
rules don't
strength and
exist, why would
leadership.
we need men to protect us if gender rules don't exist?
I'm really confused on like the equivocation here. Let me
If
make
gender rules
let me,
don't
let,
exist,
let me make
why do we
let me,
need
let me
men
make
to
let me
protect
make
us?
my point clear. There is not a relationship between how big your biceps are and how good of a leader you are.
Okay, but that's just
Do
not
you accept
true.
that?
Okay, Dean, if you
So I just no. You're just gonna give me a yes or no. Do you accept that or do you reject that?
not all cases, but I'm not talking about just positions of leading. I'm really talking
So
about
do
gender
you or
roles
do
in
you not
general.
think that there's a relationship between your physical strength and your leadership ability?
In some cases, yes, I do.
In some cases, what cases?
If I had to lead a pact of fighters and I would be the one, that stepped up first, or if I was with my girlfriend and I would be the one that steps up to somebody threatening her, that would be something you'd be physical strength for.
So even like leading a pack of fighters, a UFC coach who leads a pack of fighters, they're usually like less strong on average than the fighters.
Okay, so you think that women should
You muted yourself. This guy's a donut, dude.
He said, I don't even have a point. I'm just gonna like straight up back out.
Yeah, I don't know what like this guy's doing. Like he didn't even know that there are 3 branches of the government. Like this is what happens when you're not educated and you spend like 5 hours a day watching people like Andrew Tate. Jared, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo saying that quote unquote men are better. Dude probably calls Andrew Tate daddy, probably. Sarah with the $5 on Venmo saying I have zero desire for this hat to lead me anywhere. So real. Jessica with the $5 from a leading manager in the tech field, surrounded by men. Thank you. I work harder, longer hours, and produce better work. And on average, get paid less. Thank you, Dean. Honestly, like this is like the bare fucking minimum. Yeah, he left. The bare minimum is just advocating against like obvious false claims. Like the idea that somehow men are better at leading than women.
Yeah. And then, like, even with the people who, like, kind of want to actually engage in a debate logically, like, even that, like, I got into a conversation yesterday where a lot of people thought that, like, specifically, you know, our hunter-gatherer days were, like, specifically super gendered, like, we had a crazy amount of, like, social sexual dimorphism, when, like, in reality, if you're looking all the way back then, you know, in that Paleolithic era, we see egalitarianism in, like,
Right.
our very early human ancestors.
You're
So
right.
I don't know where these goofballs are getting these ideas. I mean, did you want to? Are we going to keep debating Misogynist Day, or did you want to get back to your regularly scheduled program?
I got like 4 live restrictions. So do you get your lives taken down when you debate them?
No, dude. I've actually been pretty safe. Like, I think it's just because you're getting like, you know, thousands of people in here. I hit like 400 max. I think that's probably why. It's probably just because you're getting like mass reported.
Maybe. Well, as soon as that stops, Adrian, I'd love to have you up more and talk specifically about that. You know, like outside of politics, one thing that I really care about advocating for is like against like dangerous prescriptive gender norms that shit on women.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, and I really miss being able to do that. But Adrian, it was good having you up, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. You have a good one.
Of course, you take care, Adrian. You take care. Now, for everybody listening in here, so I just heard word through a text messages, through a text message that apparently we have now received live access back on the main account. Apparently, we have got the access back to be able to add up and accept guests over there. So that's what we are going to try to do now. If everybody watching, if you want to see some more debates, go over to @itsdean on TikTok. In fact, if somebody would drop it down in the chat so I could pin it real quick. For those on YouTube, you don't need to go anywhere. But for those on TikTok, we're going to head over to @itsdean. So go over to the handle in the pinned comment. You can also just find the account by typing in Dean Withers to your search bar. It'll find the account. And we're going to be over there for another 3 or so hours. So go do that now. For those over on YouTube, you're just going to hang out with me while we switch the account. But everybody on TikTok, you know what to do. Head over to @itsdean. See you in around 25 seconds. Now for everybody on the Tickety Talk, for everybody on the YouTube, good to see you all. Point number 1, we're going to have to sign in to the TikTok account. Then we're going to have to switch our mic around. And I really hope that this works. I really could not log in. Try another login method. What? Okay. So it's not even letting me log in. You are trolling. No fucking way. Oh, somebody in the YouTube says, how's nobody too? Bro, it was awesome.
I'm in bed with my girl.
Yo, I got it. That was my For You page.
It's about 8 a.m.
I just got to
She asks me a simple question.
It's just like
she
some
says,
ad on my
Reese,
For You page.
how long are you going to be working today? I give her a simple answer. I say, we'll see.
that was a video on my For You page. I swear that was a video on my For You page. Yo, what a terrible what a terrible opening line. What a terrible opening line to some random video on my For You page when I'm rebooting the TikTok app. Yo, that's crazy. All right, let's try to get logged in on TikTok. Here we go, everybody. Just give me a second. Yo, that's wild, bro. Okay. That's crazy. Okay. All right, I think that we're good to go on TikTok. I'm just going to switch the mic out real quick. You guys are about to hear the mic quality get like a bajillion times better. It's like night and day. Prepare for this. It'll take me like 3 seconds, dude. Just give me a second. Look at how much better that is. Oh, that crispy mic. That crispy mic. I love it. I love it so much. I love that crispy mic so much. so much, quite frankly. Look at that crispy mic, everybody. Okay. All right. We are back on TikTok. That is great. Real quick, while we are starting the live over on TikTok, there's a couple of people I'd like to thank here. Ashley, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo. I appreciate that, Ashley. Let's get 200 Ashley W's down below in that chat. Thank you so much. Seriously, Ashley, thank you. Ashley says, hi, Dean. I'm a stay-at-home mom and a feminist. Feminism is about being able to choose your own path. Yup. Thank you for the $20, Ashley. As well as Haru, thank you so much for the $12 over on PayPal. Haru, thank you. They say, hey, Dean, I just want to let you know I got an A in global politics, especially American. Keep doing what you do. Good shit, Haru. Show some love to Haru down below. As well as Ansgar, thank you so much for the $20 over on PayPal. And Lily with the 15. Ansgar says, I hope this one gets read out. This goes out to the Manosphere Nugget who wants to push gender roles. I am 6'2". Let's go ahead and read the rest of the message. I am 6'2", and I dwarf my wife, who's only 5'1". She's a welder and is the primary breadwinner. I stayed at home and raised our 3 kids. We wouldn't have any of it any other way. We've been happily together for over 5 years. Bro, Ansgar, I love you. As well as Lily, thank you so much for the $15. Show some love to Ansgar and Lily down below in that chat. And for everybody tuning into the TikTok, welcome in, you guys. We finally got that main account back. I could not be happier today. I truly could not be happier today. Let's go to get some W's in the chat for getting that TikTok account back. W's in the chat. W's in the chat. Absolutely beautiful. And yeah, we're going to go and hop right into the debate. So if you happen to be one of the very first 2.5 people, 2.5 thousand, sorry, people tuning into the live, guys, go ahead and drop a big W down below in that chat. As well as Maria, thank you for the $4 over on PayPal, saying we don't need men to protect us. We need them to stop harming us. Yeah, I didn't even get to bring up that point because he left pretty quickly. Thank you for the love, Maria. Now, we're going to go and hop into this debate. Hop in that queue if you happen to be an American adult that is at least 18 years old that supports Donald J. Trump as president of America. Go ahead and take a good look at the rules before you join too. Only join if you are 18 plus American MAGA and ready to debate. Rule breakers get banned as per usual. You know, we don't like to ban people. It's not too fun. It's not too cute, but we definitely will if we need to. Let's go ahead and get that first guest of the day loaded up into the live. As well as Maya, thank you for the $2 over on PayPal. Show some love to Maya down below while we're working on getting that very first Trump supporter loaded up in of the day. We got Sarah connecting to the live stream right now. Hello, Sarah. Do you support Trump?
Hi, I'm not American, but I just want to say I love you.
Sarah, I really appreciate you for the love. That's incredibly kind of you. I do have to ban you because you did break the rules, but you're awesome nonetheless. We're going to go and keep the rules on stream just so y'all know exactly what you're getting yourself into, exactly what those rules are. Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
We should stop vaping.
So real. Do you support Trump?
I do.
How old are you?
I am 18, thank you.
And what year were you born in? Thank you.
I was born in 2003, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. You know what you should stop?
Lying, I know. Bye.
Oh, they're lying? Okay.
No, don't ban me.
Moving on to the next guest, guys. Only join if you're 18 plus American MAGA. Go ahead and put a MAGA with your age down below in that chat if you'd like to join. I will definitely allow you to skip that line and we'll get you right up in here. Wait, did he say 2003? Wait, did he say he was born in 03? I just completely tuned it out. That's terrible. Did he seriously say 03? Bruh. Welcome in. Are you MAGA? Do you support Trump?
Look up.
Banned. Moving on to the next guest. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up in here. Guys. Okay, don't let me ban you like this. Gonna get those next guests loaded in. What's going on? Willie Beam, do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Yo, I saw your chat in the comment section. You're saying like Trump for life. So tell us, Willie.
Oh, Trump for the win.
Okay. Why are you Trump for the win? Why do you support such a bad president?
There could be worse.
But why do you think he's good? I want to hear you out, Willie. What's the argument?
Oh, I guess because of the fact that he's cleaning up our streets.
Ooh, cleaning up the streets of what?
Oh, he's trying to get all these criminals
put
behind bars.
So you're big on like law and order and tough on crime, right?
I'm just big on keeping everything safe for everyone.
Right.
On both sides.
I have a question. So like, let me be real here. If Biden like willfully and intentionally let violent offenders that try to like beat up and kill people out of jail by pardoning them and then called them patriots, do you think that should be an impeachable offense?
Well, I don't know about impeachable, but you would have to definitely answer for that.
Would you say that that should be like a red line for every American? If Biden did that, like all the Democrats should stop supporting him right now.
No.
No, you want to say that's a red line? Come on, Willie.
No. No, I mean, everybody's got, I mean,
Would that
people make
be a red line
mistakes.
to you?
To me?
To you? If Biden or any
I
president did that, would you ever support him again?
Well, I don't know.
You don't know?
It's never happened to me. I really can't say.
Well, it actually has happened to you. Donald Trump pardoned 1,600 people sent to jail over J6. 77 of the 1,600 people were sentenced to jail over attempting to unalive or beating up cops. DJ Rodriguez took a stun gun and drove it into the neck of Officer Fanone on the steps of the Capitol on J6, trying to kill him. Then he gave Officer Fanone a heart attack. DJ Rodriguez pled guilty to this and was sentenced to 12 years in jail. Now, 4 years into his term on the first day of Donald Trump's term this time around, he let him out of jail and called him a patriot, right? So if you are like tough on crime and you want to uphold law and order, then how come you support a 34-count felon, adjudicated rapist as president, even if he has let violent offenders that try to unalive cops out of jail and label them as patriots? That seems pretty hypocritical.
Yeah. Well, the stuff that happened, I guess that day, he was not control of that. I mean, that's not his job to make people do what they don't want to do.
He wasn't in control of letting them out of jail and calling them patriots?
No, I'm talking about the whole J6 thing.
And I'm talking about his pardons.
Well, that's, he's a president. What can you do?
You could not pardon violent offenders, especially when you're apparently, quote unquote, cleaning the streets up of criminals? Right? And then, like, another thing, if you don't think, quote unquote, criminals should be in our streets, then why do you think they should be in the White House?
Well, he should be in the White House because he's actually getting things done.
Okay, what is one thing he's gotten done in the last 200 days that has helped the average American?
And helps it out. I don't know. Let's see. Got that border wall going up. That's a good thing.
Well, actually, he told Republicans to torpedo legislation under the Biden-Harris administration that would have built more border wall than he did in his first term. He's actively fought against its construction.
These are all things I never heard of, but okay.
All right, all
right. Let's see. I don't know. It just seems like a heck of a lot better pick than Kamala.
Okay, so
someone that wants to hurt kids. So
Kamala wanted to hurt kids?
Yeah.
Did you know that Donald Trump has literally boasted about sexually exploiting kids?
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he went on Howard Stern's podcast in 2005 and would boast about how he'd walk into their changing rooms when they're undressed to look at them. Now, how did Kamala Harris want to hurt kids?
Do what?
How did Kamala Harris want to hurt children? By giving their parents a child tax credit that would have reduced childhood poverty by 50%?
No.
No?
Talking about all this abortion stuff and letting kids take that
okay.
sexual change, or we won't call that crap.
Okay, you know nothing about that subject. We also can't talk about it on TikTok. It'll ban you for hate speech.
But
just know
apologies.
that Kamala Harris ran on like no policy that related to trans individuals. Now, about the first point, abortion. So you think abortion is wrong. Would you say that you think we should ban abortion because it will save the lives of more innocent children?
I only think banning abortion up to a point. If it's going to hurt the mom, then, something needs to be done. But if it's something that where the kid who is not responsible for everything that's happened should be able to live life. And
you said if it's going to hurt the mom, then you're okay with it. Well, I mean, do you think that if
it's going to kill the mom,
kill her? Okay.
So sorry, you can't use that word. I'm sorry.
No worries. So what about circumstances of grape? Out of curiosity.
Say what?
In circumstances of grape, do you think women should be able to access abortion?
Yeah, right away. It needs to happen right away. Well, not abortion, but like some to keep it from growing in. You know what I mean? Like after a certain amount of time, it should automatically be not up to the mom. Once it becomes, actual living being. It needs to.
Okay, and when does it become an
growing
actual
child.
living being?
I mean, like, I want to say the right words where when they actually combine and they start life.
That would be conception, right? The only way to prevent conception in a lot of circumstances is to be on birth control, to have an IUD, or to wear a condom.
That would be
right?
That would be awesome.
Right, but remember, we're talking about rapists raping women that didn't want to engage in intercourse.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty reasonable to assume that many rape victims get pregnant.
There should be a cutoff. There should be a cutoff. But if it did happen, and they missed that cutoff, I mean,
Okay, what's the cutoff? What do you think the cutoff should be for access to abortion for victims?
that's not for me to say.
Okay, well then who should it be to say? For the women? Should the women decide what that cutoff is?
No, it should be done by a professional medical doctor.
Okay, so professional medical doctors should be able to make this decision with a woman?
They should make the decision on whether or not what the cutoff time would be.
Okay, well, so like, what do you think they should evaluate when making that decision? Like, do you think that it is permissible
I mean,
for a victim of rape to get an abortion, kill the fetus?
It would be up to the actual woman, but at the same time, there should be like a specific growth time on when it should and should not happen.
I'm just trying to identify like more specific information from you on what you think that period should be, and you're not really giving it to us. So I don't really know how to have this conversation with us if you can't give us like any indication of what you think that cutoff should be at all.
Couple weeks, maybe. I don't know.
Couple weeks, man. Most women don't know that they're pregnant until 7 to 8 weeks because that's when hormonal imbalances kick in, and the pregnancy will show up on a P test.
No, after the grape happens, there should be some sort of contraception that you can take to finish everything. If something happens like that, automatically it should be.
Okay, all right. So here's my thoughts. So, I mean, what you're referencing is going to be something like Plan B or so on. Like, I do believe that such solutions like are a part of grape kits. So, if an individual is graped and they go to the hospital, they could get a grape kit. They'll be given a Plan B alongside like other things to collect DNA from the grapes, etc. However, like, I don't think like acknowledging that these things should exist, acknowledging that hospitals should give grape victims a Plan B if the grape victim goes to the hospital, etc. Like, I don't think this means that we should place some restriction on when a victim of grape could access abortion. And there's like many reasons for this. The first reason is well, a lot of grape victims don't go to the hospital, don't report it to the police because of the compounding effects of grape culture, the fact that they feel like it was their fault, the fact that they might feel embarrassed, etc., and a lot of other like social phenomena in which are onset by such levels of trauma. Many grape victims may just like act as if it didn't happen, attempt to ignore it because of how truly traumatizing the action and event was, etc. As well as like many grape victims, if they think that they might be pregnant as a result of it, will just deny the grape. It will not deny the grape. Will deny the pregnancy. Once again, psychologically, because they just don't think that something like that could ever happen to them. And like, for all those reasons and more, I just think it's incredibly immoral and like incredibly insane to suggest that there should be any cutoff point for when a victim of grape could or couldn't access abortion. Not to mention that I don't think that a victim of grape killing a fetus is wrong at all, at any point in pregnancy. And the reason why I say that is that woman just has no obligation at all to supply that fetus with her bodily resources. And in fact, that fetus is taking her bodily resources from her without her consent, impacting her quality of life, and introducing some potentiality of death.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's completely not up to me what happens. That's something happen between the woman that it happened to and the doctor.
Oh, so if you think it should be between the woman and the doctor, well, then you're just repeating what like pro-choicers think. That's a pro-choice view.
No, I mean, yeah, you should be able. The woman should be able to have a say so. It's everybody's God-given right. But if there's any chance whatsoever that little baby can be born and live life, then it should happen.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to give you a counter argument against that for grape victims. Think about it this way. If you barely made enough money to buy yourself food for 9 months and somebody would break into your house every single night and steal half your food, and this starved you, and you knew that they're going to be doing this for the next 9 months. And in fact, this introduced around a 5% chance of you dying from starvation. And all you had to do to prevent this person from stealing half of your food in the middle of the night was to lock your door. But you knew if you locked your door and they no longer had access to your food, they would die from starvation. Do you think it should be illegal for you to lock your door in this circumstance?
Should I lock my door?
Do you think it should be illegal for you to lock your door?
I'd use my Second Amendment right.
Oh, so you'd unalive them. Okay, well, guess what? Now you're telling me that if there is another entity taking your resources from you without your permission, you would unalive them. Well, you, in a sense, literally just described abortion.
But having somebody come in my house is completely different than my actual body.
Right, I know. It is significantly more invasive for another entity to be existing in and growing inside of your body compared to stealing half of your food in the middle of the night without your knowledge.
A grown human being can make up their own mind. Breaking into my house is someone who's got complete thought on what they're doing.
Okay, so now we're making a consideration of thought and intention. Well, that's very easy to account for in the hypothetical I gave you. We'll just reframe it a little bit. If the person that's breaking it, now this is going to sound like a little unrealistic, just bear with me here. We're just testing your logic. If the person that was breaking into your house in the middle of the night and taking half your food to survive was sleepwalking, right? And you could stop the sleepwalker from stealing half of your food by just simply locking your door, but you knew they'd die as a result because they'd starve as they wouldn't have access to your food. Do you think that it would be permissible for you to lock your door?
Why would I need to lock my door? I could just just throw him out the door even while he's sleeping.
That's also like so that's also fine. You're just saying that you would prevent them from stealing half of your food, and you think that would be permissible even if they die as a result, even if they were intentionally stealing your food. Well, guess what? That's abortion. Right? I can acknowledge that the fetus isn't intentionally taking the bodily resources away from the mother. I can acknowledge that the fetus isn't intentionally growing inside of her uterus, right? But at the end of the day, she has no obligation to provide that resource, her resources to that fetus to live. She should be well within her rights. Oh, it's natural.
Yeah, it's a natural thing.
Okay, what do you mean by natural there?
Well, if it's living and part of that body, then there you go.
Okay, so if the fetus is living, then it's natural. Okay, well, the sleepwalker that's stealing half your food is living.
Yeah, well, it's not part of my household.
It's not part of... I'm confused on what you're saying.
It's not part of my household. The baby's part of her.
Oh, really? So so I just want to clarify, if it's part of her, then why wouldn't she have the final say-so over what happens to it?
Because it's not fully her.
It's not
fully her?
On her?
Yes. But at the same time, it's got completely different
so this is now
DNA.
You're saying that it's both simultaneously a part of her and not a part of her. So which one is it?
Well, I mean, it's connected with the umbilical cord. It relies on it, like you said.
Okay, just like this sleepwalker would rely on your food.
But it's a completely different life.
So then it's not a part of
its own DNA.
Okay. Well, I mean, wasn't your argument for why that victim of rape shouldn't be able to access abortions because it was quote unquote a part of her? But now you're like refuting the notion that it's a part of her. So therefore, what's the reason why you think that victims of rape shouldn't be able to access abortion on the basis that they're under no obligation to provide their bodily resources to that fetus without their consent?
Like I said, that would be completely up to her and the doctor.
Okay, well, if it's completely up to her, well, then you're pro-choice. But you just got done 3 minutes ago suggesting that you think that she shouldn't be able to access abortion if it's alive.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be something that has to happen if there's a way to save the baby.
Okay, so if there's a way to save the baby,
even if you can transplant, whatever.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to track your argument here. At this point, I am thoroughly confused.
Well, I just put it this way. I feel for both of them. I have a good heart. I don't want neither one of them to be anything to happen to neither one of them.
Okay. All right.
That's the way I feel. And when I hear the word abortion, it's like the baby's not even getting a chance. But at the same time, the girl is going through a lot too.
All right, well,
it's kind of hard to make. It's kind of hard to say.
I apologize for moving you, man. I'm going to move on to the next guest. I hope you have a good rest of your day. The reason why I'm moving on is because I'm just thoroughly confused by what he was trying to say. I was like attempting to follow him, but I don't think that there's like some like articulatable argument that I could follow, if that makes any sense. Welcome in. Do you support Trump? Pierce? No, Pierce is not here. While we're loading up that next guest, Jasper, thank you so much for the $15 over on PayPal. If everyone could show some love to Jasper while we're getting the next guest up here, that means so much to me. Jasper says, hey, Dean, I'm a trans man, and I want to thank you for your constant advocacy for the LGBTQ plus community. Love tuning in to stay informed on current talking points from both you and your friends/collaborators. Your support on these topics is always very appreciated. Jasper, thank you so much for the support, and I appreciate you for being here. If everyone could please show some love to Jasper down below in that chat, it would mean the world to me. Thank you so much, Jasper. You are awesome. Thank you so much, Jasper. Let's focus on getting that next Trump supporter loaded up in. If you want to skip that line and hop right up into the box, go ahead and put a MAGA with your age down below in that comment section, and we will get you loaded in. Now, we're going to get that next guest up in here right now. Before we do, I'd like to thank Braden for the $5 over on Venmo. Saying Abrigo Garcia is free and going to reunite with his family. Just check to be sure. So are you saying that he was found not guilty and innocent of the human trafficking charges in Texas? As well as Lion, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo, saying looking forward to your daily lives. Abortion should be a woman's decision and right, not politicians. Absolutely, Lion. Thank you for the $10. Show some love to Lion. And then Erica with the $20. Thank you so much. Now, this was a little bit ago in reference to the first conversation we had on the other account. Erica says, electrical for woman here. I experience misogyny on the daily. I've come to realize I am more thorough, effective, and competent leader than most of the foremen and men in general. I work with typically the smallest person on the job, and yet I get the most done, and I do it impeccably. I don't doubt that for a second, Erica. Thank you so much for the $20. As well as Ryan with the $10 saying, I'm taking current issues, and you've just been such an inspiration for me as I debate MAGA classmates. Fuck yeah, Ryan. Welcome in. What is going on? Do you support Trump?
No, the only reason why you have difficulty doing this is because there's a difference between education and intelligence, and the people that support Trump is unintelligent. They're just educated in book, if that. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure you just called Trump supporters unintelligent, based. Let's go. Moving on to the next guys here. Abenaki, if you support Trump, we are only looking to talk to MAGA. We're only looking to talk to MAGA. We got JR letting up. We're going to go ahead and throw the rules up on screen. Only join if you're 18 plus American.
Fill your butt with my hot.
And moving on to the next guest right now, everyone. Let's go and get that next guest loaded up in here right now. We got Blake connecting to the live as we speak. Everyone just give us a minute. Make sure that we're following those rules. Hi, Blake. Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
And how old are you?
I'm 19 years old from North Michigan.
Don't believe you for a second. Goodbye, Blake. Moving on to the next guest. We got Kev loading up in the box right now. Alrighty. Go ahead and put a MAGA with your age down below in that chat if you want to skip the line. We got a lot of trolls in that queue right now, so I would happily let any real Trump supporter skip that line ASAP. Okay, it doesn't look like they're loading in. We're going to move on to Peter. And by the way, if you're watching and you want to support me, you could find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio. Everybody get 100% of those proceeds. They go to me, and you get a notification at the top of my phone where I can thank you. Hey, what's going on, Peter? You MAGA?
Okay. Run montage of people who died.
Mr. Peter. Mr. Peter. Hi, Mr. Peter. Peter V. Peter V is here, but not here. No clue. Moving on to call. Here we go. Alrighty. There's a lot of people putting their age down below in that chat. I appreciate you. Also, make sure that you're putting a MAGA in front of your age, just so I know that you are a Trump supporter. We got that next guest loaded in right now. They were spamming Trump 19 down below. Awesome. Their name is Layla. Hi, Layla. So.
Oh my gosh, I accidentally turned on my camera. Hi, I'm a 19-year-old, and I grew up in a Trump supportive household, and I kind of wanted to be able to understand the perspectives, because I'm not really educated on being a Trump supporter, and I grew up that way.
For sure.
And
well, I mean, do you have any reasons why you are? I'd happily go through them with you.
Wait, what again?
Do you have any reasons why you support Trump? I'll go through them with you and tell you why I disagree.
Well, the only things I've heard from my family is how Trump just supports people of any color, and supports any kind of group, regardless of who they are. And I have a hard time believing that, but it's I don't have any evidence to prove to my family about it.
Well, here's what I recommend for you. Honestly, you sound like you're not so much in a position as a Trump supporter that's wanting to debate, but more so just somebody looking for more information. So I mean, the purpose of the lives doesn't just serve to the people debating, but also serves to people watching. You know, if you want a good idea about why I don't support Trump, about my critiques of Trump, I'd honestly just recommend watching the live. So if you happen to have some free time, even if you're doing chores or something, just leave the live running, listen in, and I appreciate you for being here. We are going to go ahead and move on to the next guest here, just to look for an argument, but I think it is awesome that you're here, and I think it'll ultimately be incredibly beneficial. Let's go and get that next guest loaded in, though, guys. We got Owen loading up, as well as the Builder. Thank you for the $2 on Super Chat over on YT. Hell yeah, Builder. Welcome in. Are you MAGA?
Yo, what happened to the anxiety pen? Where's the vape at, little bro?
It's not a vape. It's an anxiety pin, quite frankly, and right now it's on my lap. Thank you very much for
You
asking.
want to see it? Show it up. Show it out. Show it. Let's see it. Hit it.
Nah, man.
You scared?
No. Why would I be
Why
scared?
won't you hit it?
Mindy, thank you for the galaxy.
Because you always rage over it.
Wait, why won't I hit it?
Why you gotta hide it though? Why are you scared?
Because of TikTok TOS?
If it's an anxiety pen, they won't care.
See, I don't think they could tell the difference. They don't know it's lavender and chamomile.
Think they can.
Okay.
If it's a diffuser,
I
not a
disagree.
lot of smoke will come out. Not really.
Right. So you seem very obsessed with my anxiety pin. Get a life.
No, you're just a weirdo.
Why am I a
So, I don't
weirdo?
know.
I feel like you're about to leave. You just don't like when I come up here, talk shit, then leave.
No, I just,
So why am I
TikTok's gonna
weirdo?
be raging,
Let's give
and I
a
just
coach
wanted
an
to
argument.
join and show you about your anxiety pen. Your
It kind of
anxiety
seems that you look
pen,
pretty
right?
bad right now. So, quite frankly, you said that I'm a weirdo. I'm going to go and ask you for an argument to justify that. I have a crystal ball. My crystal ball is telling me that you're actually not going to give an argument. You're just going to leave because you can't, stand the test of the dean, right? So let's go ahead and hear the position, my friend. Actually, we didn't hear the position. He just left. My crystal ball was telling the truth. How do I always know? I literally always know. I just always know. I can literally see the future. In relation to people like Owen. It's the same thing every single time, and they do it anyways. I'll be like hounded into them. I'll be like, you're going to be a beta and leave. And then they'll just still do it. It's so funny. Like, they're just accepting the tuck of the tail in between the legs. It's great. Go ahead and put a Trump/MAGA with your age down below in that chat if you want to join. Go ahead and put a Trump/MAGA with your age down below in that chat if you want to join. We're going to get that next guest, Katie, up in here right now. Quite frankly. All right, welcome in. Katie, are you MAGA?
Hi, I just want to say this. I'm not a troll.
Okay, Katie, I thought that you were in the middle of saying I'm not a Trump supporter, but it turns out that you said I'm not a troll. So if you are a Trump supporter, feel free to hop back in that queue, but we are banning everybody that is not. Hi, do you support Trump?
Okay, so I would just want to say I'm 18.
You MAGA?
I am.
You are MAGA.
No, I'm not MAGA. But I just want
And
to say,
unfortunately, I have to ban you, Billy. I hope you have a great rest of your day. We're gonna move on to the next guest. Everybody, we got William loading in. Like I said, y'all, we're coming at it with a red line. Everybody that's breaking the rules is banned. That is the only way to keep the trolls to a minimum. Hi, do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
And how old are you?
I'm 20.
You're 20, same age as me, Mr. William. Why have you decided to support such a bad president?
Honestly, just the influence from my parents, honestly. They kind of influenced the decision. So, don't start laughing. Chill.
Okay. So if you don't have like a legitimate argument, I'm just going to recommend to you the same thing I recommended to a guest a couple back. I just recommend watching the live.
Well, okay. Well, I was going to let you spark the argument, and then we were kind of just going to go from there and converse about it. But
yeah, sure. Give me the most compelling reason you possess that has led you to supporting Trump.
Honestly, just the policy with the immigrants, ICE, obviously,
okay.
Yeah, your reaction you just put, honestly, yeah, that kind of says a lot. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not well educated about it, so you're probably gonna destroy me in the argument. But I mean, honestly, I saw one of your TikToks one time, and it was talking about how like getting rid of all the people honestly just kind of hurts the economy more than helps it. And can you kind of explain that a little bit? Because it's a little confusing.
Yeah, the American Immigration Council tells us that the total contributions of undocumented immigrants to the American GDP is $1.1 trillion through $1.7 trillion per year. So if you remove them all, you lose that GDP growth. You lose their employment. You lose their demand inside of the economy, which reduces our productive capacities, which reduces our manufacturers' efficiency in production, which just reduces production because less consumers are consuming American goods, reduces GDP growth, which reduces average qualities of life, which increases poverty, which increases crime.
Okay. And then also another topic, I think I remember seeing a TikTok that you had about it. It was kind of like Kamala helps the working class.
Yeah.
No, you said that Kamala supports the working class better than Trump. Can you kind of also explain that a little bit? Because I always thought that Trump actually.
I would just reference you to the video, man. Like I want to tell you like the same thing I told the last guest. Right now, I'm like trying to find people that support Trump, and I want to hear your reasons why, so we could debate about them. If you're more so like looking for an explanation of my beliefs, etc., I think that one, my videos are going to be a great source, and two, just like watching the lives is going to be a great source.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, honestly, just getting put on the spotlight kind of made me fumble my words, so I'm not really ready. So you can just ban me or whatever you want to.
I'm not going to ban you.
I respect.
I'm not going to ban you. Don't worry, William. I appreciate you for being here, and I appreciate you for being curious. You were why I do the lives. As I recommended to the last guest, just please tune in. As well as for the 9K people over on TikTok, you guys, make sure that we're double tapping away on that phone screen, and welcome into Sports Trump, Mike.
100%.
That's super cringe. Are you driving? Woot woot. Thank you for the motorcycle.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Are you driving? You're on pause. I can't hear you unless you could see me.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Are you driving?
No, not anymore. I just parked.
Great. All right. So, yeah, why do you support the worst president of your life?
Yeah, I would say he's actually the best president of all time, par none.
Okay. All right. So you're telling me that he's better than the guy that freed slaves. This must mean that he has some great fucking policy. Go ahead and tell me the best thing that Donald Trump has ever done for this country, which, by the way, will be the best thing ever done for this country.
Well, there is many different things that come to mind. I think one of the most important ones that, it had to be done, and is just the strengthening of our border, our southern border, and just putting that, what should I say here? He's putting a lot of money towards Border Patrol, and I like that. I mean, it does make it seem like there's a lot of extra stuff going on with ICE, but I think overall, I think it's a good thing, even though, that's a real tough subject there, but I mean.
Okay. So I just want to clarify that you're using the standard of money given to Border Patrol to dictate who the best president ever is. All right. So would you say before Donald Trump's second term that Joe Biden was the best president in the history of this country because he had given the most money to Border Patrol compared to any president before him? Well, I was thinking about that one. Maya, thank you for the $10 on YouTube, saying, Dean, I love you so much. Please don't stop the streams, but even if you do, know that you're an amazing person. Well, thank you so much, Maya. That is incredibly kind of you, and thank you for the $10. Thank you, Maya. As well as, let's see here, Corinne with the $10 saying, Dean, appreciate you. I appreciate you for the $10, Corinne. As well as for the 8.5 thousand people watching the stream, we got to go ahead and restart because of the flag that we just got for consuming substances featured in this live could harm your health. That's from the person that was talking about vaping, and I just didn't kick him, so it's my bad. Here are the steps on how to come back after a restart. I'm going to go ahead and give them to you now because this is unfortunately something that we have to do today. When the live ends, you will see this pop up in the middle of your phone screen. This is what it will say. It'll say, live has ended, and then it will show my profile picture. If you click on the profile picture right there, it will then direct you to my account page that will look like this. I want you to count to 10, swipe down on my videos. The page will refresh, then click back on my profile picture, and you will be back in the stream following the restart. If you don't know if you will be able to follow those instructions or not, hit the follow button in the top left-hand corner right now, because at least at the end of the day, you'll be able to find me in your following list. Now, we're going to go ahead and hit that restart. Should take less than 10 seconds. I will see you all very, very, very soon. 1, 2, 3, 4. Already back up. Restarted in 4 seconds. LFG. YouTube, how are we doing today? How are we doing today over on YouTube? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. How are we doing today over on YouTube? Let me know. Yo, welcome back into everybody. Tune it back in on TikTok. We already got that restart underway. Look at how quickly we're able to pull that one off. That is fantastic, quite frankly. As well as everybody tuning in from the Parker. I appreciate you for being here. Now, quickly, before we hop into the next debate, let me thank Brianna real quick for the $20 on Vibo. Brianna, thank you. Thank you, Brianna. That is so kind of you. Holy crap. Let's show some love to Brianna down below in that chat while we're hitting the restart. Brianna says, Dean, try reverse searing your steak next time over a charcoal grill after dry brining it overnight. I do this with tomahawks, and I finish with homemade compound butter or chimichurri. That smoky flavor, chef kiss. Brianna, you literally just described the very best way to cook a tomahawk steak. You know your shit. WU. As well as Crystal with a $15 on Venmo. Crystal says, just wondering about your opinion on the Roblox situation with their security or lack thereof, if you could talk about it. Fuck Roblox. I'm just gonna keep it blunt. I'm gonna keep it straight. Roblox sucks. I saw a clip of an interview with the CEO, and the interviewer was like, "Are you ever going to consider adding nudity to your game?" And then the CEO was like, "I don't think we're gonna do that right now, but maybe in the future." It's a fucking kids game. I saw that clip. Nope. Nope. Yup. Done. Absolutely done in my mind. TikTok goddamn cooked themselves. Adam, thank you for the $10 on Super Chat saying, hey, Dean, do you ever debate on MAGA? I do not debate on MAGA. However, we do, or at least we try to do, a weekly Q&A where non-MAGA can come up. As well as, T! Oh my goodness, T! Jeez! T, thank you so much for the $50 Super Chat on YouTube. Holy crap. T, you are fantastic. I want to see so many WTs in those live chats for the $50 Super Chat. T says, let's get this weekend started. Payday feels great. Keep up the good work. T, you are the MVP. Let's get some MVP Ts down below in that chat. I really appreciate you for the love. That is so much goddamn money. I appreciate you for your kindness. You are awesome, awesome, awesome. Holy crap. Thank you so much. Moving on to the next guest. Let's go to get that very first Trump supporter loaded up into the day. If you want to support me, you can find that V in the P, if you know what I mean. Venmo and PayPal, and the link tree in the BIO. Right? Let's go to move on to the next guest. As well as Al, thank you for the $5 on Super Chat, and Musty with the 45 cents on PayPal. Welcome in, Liam. Are you MAGA?
No.
Then banned, quite frankly. If you were just tuning into the live, if this happens to be your first time here, I thought it would be worth repeating that we do have some rules. They're pretty simple, though. The rules are easy. You just got to be an American adult that's at least 18 that supports Trump. Very easy, very simple. Indeed, quite frankly. Now, let's get back into those conversations. Let me know in that comment section if you want to come up and have a conversation. We'll happily get you pulled in. Hello, V. Are you MAGA?
Yes, I am MAGA. I'm 18.
And what year were you born in?
I was born 2007, April 4th.
Really? Okay, that would make you 18. Is there any way that you can mute that TV in the background or go into a little bit more of a quiet place in your house?
Okay, so I'll go into a quiet room right now.
Perfect, my friend. Silent, thank you for the $20 over on Super Chat. St. Parker Raid, happy weekend and blink your checkpoint. Thank you for the love, Silent. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. Show some love to Silent down below. It is going to be a good weekend. Hell yeah. All right, V, take it away. Why are you MAGA?
I'm MAGA because he got rid of all those illegal things.
Okay, all right. Well, it looks like God just raptured your internet because he knew that you were going to say some STUPIDSHIT. Your internet literally just got raptured. God damn, that's pretty satisfying, I gotta say. That one was pretty satisfying right there. All right. I invited you to unmute. Let's work on the internet connection better. Also, let's call undocumented immigrants undocumented immigrants. They're already dehumanized enough by society. The least we could do is show them a little bit of respect, right?
Yeah, sorry. Illegal immigrants, sorry, that's my bad.
Undocumented immigrants.
Yeah, undocumented illegal immigrants.
Just undocumented immigrants. Okay.
All right. But besides the terms, why do you think that's such a bad thing?
Yeah, for sure. Because there's literally no material way in which it would concretely benefit this country.
So you're saying it's getting rid of illegal immigrants would not benefit the country at all? Okay, undocumented immigrants. So you're saying that wouldn't affect the country at all, just keeping them in the country?
Yeah. So when we compare mass deportation to alternative policies such as mass amnesty, there's literally not a clear way that mass deportation makes this country better. Can you specify one for us?
Like how mass deportation makes the country better?
Yeah, like one material outcome of mass deportation on our country that makes it better. Come on.
Well, wouldn't it affect our economy if we get rid of illegal immigrants undocumented immigrants, which again, they're undocumented, so what does that mean? They don't have to pay any taxes or anything like that?
They do pay taxes. They pay $100 billion per taxes a year. And you said that it would affect our economy, ding, 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 just in a negative way. We'd be forcefully laying off 8.3 million of our laborers, reducing our GDP by 1.1 trillion through 1.7 trillion per year, while the operation as a whole would cost $2 trillion over 10 years. It's just economically devastational.
Sorry, I need to process that yap real quick because... So what you're saying is, while getting rid of undocumented immigrants, it's actually getting rid of most of our workforce, which I don't know how that works so well.
I didn't say most of our workforce. I said 8.3 million of our workers.
I mean, that would be a lot of workers, would it not?
Yeah, it just wouldn't be most. Most means majority.
Yeah, true. Sorry, lack of terms. I'm still new to politics, but just thinking like if they're undocumented, how are we supposed to document if they pay taxes, if they're workers, like all that stuff?
Oh yeah, because undocumented just means like in the country without documentation insofar as like citizenship, residency, visas, green cards, work permits, etc. Oh, well, he left. Bye. Dora, thank you for the $20 over on YouTube Super Chat saying, hi, Dean. It's crazy how these MAGAs believe anything that they are told. How can people still support this horrible person? You know what, Dora? That's what we come on here every single day to try to determine. I appreciate you for the $20, Dora. You're awesome. Thank you so much. Let's show some love to Dora down below in that chat, as well as Trinity. Thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. And M with a 2 and Sky with a 1. And then Trina with a 5 as well, saying you've educated me immensely. Parker 2, that's awesome, Trina. Hey, welcome in. What's going on, Patrick? Do you sport shrimp?
Yeah, I do. Not as much as I used to, but I would consider myself a Trump supporter.
Good. Oh, man, why?
Because he has been a public figure now, well, in politics anyway, for about a decade. And when he first came down that escalator, his rhetoric really resonated with obviously a majority of the country because he got elected in 2016.
Okay. I'm tracking your reasons as you say them. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, his rhetoric primarily focused around immigration at the time, and again, even in 24 on the campaign trail, a lot of it had to do with his immigration policies. But he has not done what he's promised in terms of deportation. So while I do still support him, I don't think he's doing nearly enough to combat the effects of illegal immigration.
Oh my goodness gracious. You literally support him. You literally have weaning support for him because you're further to the right. Oh my goodness. Let me ask you a question, since you care so much about immigration. If somebody showed up to a legal port of entry at our southern border and tried to legally enter our country, but then Border Patrol figured out that they'd been held civilly liable for literally raping a woman, do you think that Border Patrol should allow them legal entry, or should they be turned around at the gate and denied entry?
I think anybody without a bona fide asylum claim should be turned around immediately, yeah.
Okay. Are you racist?
I wouldn't say that, no. I don't really hate anybody. I just think that we should enforce the laws that are on the books.
Okay. I'm looking at your second repost. It says 100% white, 100% safe.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. So I share this account with my brother. I guess maybe I don't know.
So is your brother the racist?
I thought we were talking about immigration now. Like what?
Well, I mean, this probably plays into why you don't like immigration. Like, you tell it like it's probably because you want America to be a white country, right?
I wouldn't say that. No.
No. Okay. So then, what's your deal with immigration?
My deal with immigration is that there's no other countries in the world really that would stand for this. We're the only ones that.
That's not the reason, because you told us we should basically end legal immigration too. Many other countries allow legal immigration.
No, I never said that. I said illegal immigration should be stopped, and that's what Trump ran.
What? No, I asked you if a legal immigrant should be able to legally immigrate into this country if they've been held civilly liable for grape. And then you just gave me some half-assed response of saying that you think that we should just terminate most legal immigration outside of asylum claims. Did I misinterpret your response?
No, I think I didn't catch the part where you said a legal applicant. But no, I don't think that we should be letting rapists in. I don't.
Oh, okay. So if we shouldn't let somebody that's held civilly liable for grape immigrate into the country, then why should we let them run the country from the Oval Office?
I thought your question had to do with. Are we not talking about allowing rapists into?
Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna go to kick him. He also just reposts screaming the N-word. I was hoping I was gonna get a chance to, just fucking embarrass him for being a racist. That was gonna be the point of that. But he had like another repost that like just literally was like screaming the N-words, like advocating for like racial segregation. So we're not going to platform that. Welcome in. Are you MAGA?
Cookie King mocks you, bro.
3 years old. Moving on. Make sure that we're following the rules. If you find yourself in that queue, guys, the rules are simple. You got to be an American adult that's at least 18 years old that supports Trump as president. If you want to join, we're going to move on to that next guest right now. Fantastic. Let me know in that chat if you're MAGA. Go ahead and put a MAGA with your age down below. We'll get you loaded up. We got Dennis Gregory connecting right now. I'd also like to thank Stella for the 120 Norwegian dollars over on Super Chat. Oh, they are driving.
Over on Super Chat.
Stella, that is incredibly kind of you. If everybody watching the live can show some love to Stella while we're looking for that next Trump supporter, that'd be very, very kind. Thank you, Stella. That is incredibly kind of you. Let's go to get that next Trump supporter loaded in right now, as well as Maddie. Oh my goodness gracious, Maddie, thank you for the $50.
Free Martin Diaz spoke.
Maddie, thank you for the $50. So Fred Fidmo. Holy crap, Maddie. Yo, for the 10,000 people on TikTok. Let's get at least 500 Maddie W's down below in that comment section. Maddie, you are such a G. Maddie says, another child. Maddie says, thank you for advocating for women. It baffles me that this is so controversial. It should be about the lives of women who already exist, not about the prospect of a new unwanted life. No, I mean, Maddie, I think that you make a completely valid argument. At the bare minimum, if we were to give value to the life of a fetus, could we at least agree that the life of the mother would be more valuable? Right? Somebody that is currently experiencing is more valuable than somebody that might experience in the future? I don't know. Welcome in, Joe. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, what's your age, my friend?
19.
Oh, I don't know if I believe you, Joe. What year were you born in?
I was born in 2005.
Okay, what month?
Sorry. That's my sister, not me.
Right, you don't typically mistake your sister's birthday for your birthday. We're going to move on to the next guest. Go ahead and put a MAGA with your age down below in the chat if you want to join right now. It does not look like we have many Trump supporters that are in here with us. Isn't that crazy? You guys, how we could have like over 10,000 people in the stream, but then we don't have like one person that wants to come up here. What's going on, man? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do.
And how old are you?
I was born in 2005.
Perfect. Go ahead and take it away. Well, how old are you?
Honestly,
how old
okay.
Are you? What is your age?
I understand the whole problem.
No. What is your age?
Huh?
What is your age?
I just said it.
No, you didn't.
I just said I was born in 2005.
So how old does that make you?
Like 18, right?
No. Wrong. Okay, guys, this is not a daycare. This is not a daycare, my friends. This is not a daycare. This is a debate live. Thank you so much. Hey, what's up, man? You MAGA?
Yeah, I'm MAGA.
All right. You're only talking to me through the worst mic I've ever heard. I got to kick you out. As well as Deb. Thank you for the bouquets. Thank you so much, Deb. Show some love to Deb while we're looking for that next Trump supporter. It's like the few Trump supporters that do join are just like, their mics are terrible. What's up, you MAGA?
Stop vaping, bro, please. Stop
Banned, guys. Make sure that we're following the rules. Once again, over 11,000 people in the live. Can't find one person that supports the current president. MAGA is dead, folks. And if you want to prove me wrong, if you want to prove to me that MAGA is not dead, then have a spine and join the live. Okay, very simple. What's up, you MAGA? We're going to give you 5 seconds. Nope, they're not MAGA. MAGA's dead. Moving on to the next guest. Make sure that we're also following the rules. By the way, got to be at least 18 American and MAGA. Y'all already know. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Gavin, let's see if MAGA is dead. Hi, is MAGA dead? Or are you a Trump supporter?
No, I'm not, but...
Banned. All right, MAGA is still dead. MAGA is still dead. Moving on to the next guest. Everyone just give us a minute to get T up in the box. Here we go, everyone. All right, we got T loaded in. By the way, MAGA's still dead, obviously. Doesn't look like... Oh, hi, T. Are you MAGA, or is MAGA still dead? No response. MAGA's still dead. Hi, Tegan. Are you MAGA, or is MAGA still dead?
I am not MAGA, but I just want to...
Unfortunately, I have to ban you, Tegan. Let's go ahead and take a look at those rules on the phone screen before we try to join, please. Go ahead and take a look at the rules on the phone screen before you try to join. Hannah, thank you for the $3 over on PayPal. You are fantastic. If you're watching me and you'd like to support me on Venmo or PayPal, you can find them at the top of the phone screen right there, as well as you can find them in the link tree in the bio. So Yeah, you get a notification that goes to the top of my phone where I could thank you for the love. Let's go to move on to the next guest, guys. Let's see if MAGA is still dead. So far, MAGA is very dead. No Trump supporters to be found. No Trump supporters to be found, everybody. Just none. Quite frankly, zero. I don't know what to tell you. Hi, are you MAGA or is MAGA dead?
Yeah, man, I'm MAGA.
Nice, bro. How old are you?
22.
22. Oh,
yes, sir.
My goodness gracious. Lay it on me. How can you still support this terrible president?
I think he's doing a lot of great things in this country, my man.
Okay.
What do you think he's not doing good?
For sure. Would you prefer a response in a single paragraph, 4 paragraphs, a doctoral thesis, or a 10-page research paper?
Just talk to me like I'm a person, brother.
All right, I'll talk to you like you're a person. There's a lot of reasons why I don't support Trump as president. Let's start with his character. Okay, his character is one of the main 3 categories that I detest, and it's because his character is detestable in of itself. The reason I say his character is detestable is because we're looking at a man that's been held civilly liable for raping at a woman. We're looking at a man that has sexualized 10-year-old girls, a man that has boasted about perving on the naked bodies of minors and unconsensually perving on the naked bodies of adult women. We're looking at a man that has said he would be dating his daughter if she wasn't his daughter. We're looking at a man that was best buddies with Epstein, sending him letters with pictures of naked women in the statement, "May every day be a new wonderful secret." We're looking at a man who has been found guilty of 34 felonies, a man who has said the best thing that can ever happen to a woman is pregnancy, a man that said all black people are lazy, a man that tried to convince Americans in 2012 that they shouldn't vote for Obama because he's black. That must mean he was born in Africa, meaning he's not constitutionally eligible to run for the presidency, alongside many other attributes. We will start there. Of course, we have our 2 other categories, domestic policy and foreign policy. But I just said a whole lot. I'll let you digest it, and I'll let you give a response. Take it away.
Oh, yeah, that was a lot to think about. What evidence you got for the rape allegations and all that? I'm not quite caught up on everything.
You ask a great question. My evidence would be the findings of a court. Yeah. A unanimous jury of 9 instead of a civil court in New York in 2023 after 3 years of discovery, deliberation, and arguments from Trump and the woman that he raped, E. Jean Carroll, led a unanimous jury of 9, in part picked by Donald Trump's billionaire attorneys, to conclude that it is true that Donald Trump had raped her.
Didn't know that. Well, what would you choose to be the president? Who would you pick?
Right now, anybody but Trump.
Anybody but Trump?
Anybody. And well, I mean, that's a little bit, that's rhetorical. I don't mean that. I think that there's many good options. Maybe before we move on to that conversation, we'll stick on why you support him or what your thoughts are on some of my reasons why I don't.
Well, I support a lot of what he does because, I don't really appreciate illegals.
Oh.
I'm a Christian man, so I support pro-life. And I like the way he's doing the tariff.
You said that
I believe
you
in a
don't appreciate
strong
undocumented
national
immigrants, and you are Christian.
Yes, sir.
Leviticus verse. Give me 1 second. Oh, okay. Yeah. What does Leviticus 19:33 through 34 say?
I don't know. I don't have my Bible on me. You tell me.
Okay, great. I will happily tell you. Leviticus 33 through 34 says, "Was it when an immigrant resides with you in your land, you shall not oppress the immigrant. The immigrant who resides with you shall be to you as the citizen among you. You shall love the immigrant as yourself, for you were immigrants in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God."
What's the historical context behind them verses? That's extremely important. We're talking about the Bible. There's a lot of philosophy and theology going on there. You can't just rip one line. You got to give me the full context.
Yeah, the context was that God had freed the Israelites from Egypt. The Israelites then migrated to the Israel, as quote unquote, land of Judea. And then throughout Leviticus, we see a conversation between Moses and God. God lays out a bunch of moral commandments for Moses, for the Israelites, and this is one of them.
Now he says immigrant, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about illegal immigrant? Does he say that?
God, what a shitty argument. What are you talking about?
Well, what I'm saying is, it doesn't sound like everything you're saying is quite in the greater scheme of Leviticus and what it's saying. Leviticus has got a lot of things that it says not to do and to do. It's a
Wait,
very
I'm
big
sorry.
book.
I gotta talk to you about one of your reposts real quick. You said that you're a good Christian, yet you have a repost just reeking anti-Semitism, literally saying, and I quote, "It's the Jews. It's been the Jews this whole time."
Yeah, I'll defend that every day of the week. You know, in the Bible, it says that we as Christians are the true heirs to Christ. It says Revelation 3:9, 3:10 that there will be fake Jews.
Okay, let's
And
call
that,
Jewish individuals. Let's call Jewish people Jewish people. Only reason why I quoted that was because that's what the repost said. But let's call Jewish people Jewish people. Now you're
Okay,
telling
my
me that
mistake.
Christians are like the real followers of Christ? Yeah, no fucking shit. In accordance with Christian theology, Christians are the followers of Jesus. Just like in accordance with Islamic theology, Muslims are the follower of Islam. Just like in accordance with Jewish theology, Jewish individuals are the followers of the prophets of the Torah. So, I mean, just come on, bro. Just simply telling me that Christian individuals are the true followers of God doesn't tell me anything outside of what we already know about the way in which religion functions.
Well, historical evidence is that rabbinic Judaism did not exist at Jesus' time. This is something that came up long after Christ, quite a few hundred years after Christ, actually. Judaism did not exist at Christ's time.
This also tells me nothing about like arguing that anti-Semitism is true and it's something that we should believe. The Islamic religion didn't come until 500 years after Christ had died, but yet you're not like screaming about Muslims. Like all that I'm pointing out is that you seem to be holding on to like quite some crazy takes here that are incredibly anti-Semitic. What do you mean when you when you're reposting shit saying, "Oh, it's the Jewish people. It's always been the Jewish people"?
Well, if you look back through history and you look at who controls the banks and these corporate organizations and you look at who's really leading the country, a criticism of Trump, he's too Israel first. I'm not a fan of Israel.
Wait, there's a difference between not being a fan of the state of Israel and not being a fan of Jewish people, right? I'm not a fan of the state of Israel either. I'm not a fan of Netanyahu. I'm not a fan of the IDF. I'm not a fan of what they're doing in Palestine. But to use that to equivocate like neo-Nazism is completely insane, right? No, I don't think that it is acceptable in the slightest to point out one group of people predicated on some common traits such as religion and slash ethnicity, and then demonize them, paint them as in charge, the evil power, just to serve as a tool of dehumanization to further their oppression, especially when Jewish individuals have been historically oppressed, very much so, referencing the Holocaust.
Well, look up, if you can, Dean, look up who owns BlackRock and look up all the companies that BlackRock owns and tell me that they don't own everything about us. They own us. The Jewish people.
Oh, okay. So yeah, let's point out one Jewish man that owns a company. Take a trait of this one Jewish man that owns a company that has nothing to do with the fact that he owns a company, that fact being that he's Jewish, and then let's equivocate from him to they and reference everybody else that is also Jewish and use this as a tool to further bigotry. All right, well, let's take one white teenage boy that shot up a school, take one trait of him that had nothing to do with why he shot up that school, that trait being white, and then let's go from he to they, from this white man to all white men, and demonize them as violent shooters that you should not feel safe around in any context whatsoever because they kill innocent kids.
Oh, my mic turned off. My mistake. All I'm saying is, it's just a little weird that this one specific group of people own a lot of the wealth in our country. They own a lot of the power in our country. They own a lot of the corporations in our country. It's not just BlackRock. A lot of companies are led by Jewish people, and it's just a little weird. It's just a little odd that one group's a little over represented in our economy. It's kind of strange that they've been kicked out of so many countries. At what point do you just say that?
Wait. So if one group is overrepresented in our economy, country, government, etc., then that like one group is like evil. Okay. Every president we've ever had has been a white man. Does that mean that white men are evil?
I think that's a bit of I think that's some sort of fallacy right there. Something
What's the
about that
fallacy? No,
argument.
no, no. What's the fallacy? No, please tell me. What's the fallacy?
Well, just because in a historically white country that white men would run a historically white country doesn't really mean
An historically white country. So first and foremost, I don't think that America is an historically white country. And second of all, I think what you're trying to say is that it's been disproportionately white. This does not change the fact that still. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to say every single president we've had has been a white man before Obama, and I left out that part. That's it. That's what I always say. I forgot the last part of my sentence. My bad, chat. I didn't forget about Obama. I forgot to say before Obama. My fault, everybody. So now you're going on to say, well, then the country's been disproportionately white. Well, still yet, the amount of presidents that we've had, as well as the amount of representatives within our Congress that have been white, is always been and is still today disproportionate to the representation of the overall populace.
Oh, I think my mic turned off again. The historical demographics of America has been like 90% white up until recent history. It's not disproportionate when we are the majority of the country.
Do you think that? Oh, no. It's literally still disproportionate because even if 90% of Americans today were white, and your claim that 90% of Americans have always been white was true, still yet over 90% of our presidents have been white. So your argument still fails. And even if the false information that you're suggesting as truth was actually true, there'd still be a disproportionate amount of white people leading. You just A, don't know history, but B, even if we accept your false claims, we're still yielding a disproportionate amount of white men in leadership positions.
Yeah, I just don't think that's true. I think a majority white country would have a vast majority of white leaders. That just having the
You didn't
one
even hear what I just
president
said.
who's black.
Dude, the Nazi can't even understand the words. It's bad.
Well, for one, I'm not a Nazi.
What are your
I don't
thoughts on
appreciate
Nazis?
that. What are my thoughts on Nazis? I'm not a Nazi. Do I agree with some of the take?
All right, let's go to move on to the next guest. Guys, hop in that queue if you support Trump. We're going to go to look for that next Trump supporter to bring up onto the live right now. Bo, I appreciate you so much for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. They say, hey, Dean, absolutely love what you do. Do you have you ever thought about holding a live stream to debate other leftists over capitalism versus socialism? That would create lots of good faith debates. You know, I actually have. Me and Parker did that for a little bit ago. We should do that again. As well as Stephanie. Oh, my goodness. Thank you for the $50 over on Venmo. Chad, while we're looking for that next Trump supporter, let's show some love to Stephanie down below in that comment section. I seriously really appreciate you for the love. Let's get 500 Stephanie W's down below in that chat. Thank you, Stephanie. Stephanie says, did you see that Abrego Garcia was released and is heading back to Maryland to his family finally? So was he found innocent on the charges in Texas? Please, somebody tell me more about this. But Stephanie, seriously, thank you for the 50. Welcome in Balance and welcome in RD. Do you guys support Trump? Okay. What about you, Balance?
What was that?
I don't know, some kid. Are you
Hey.
MAGA?
See, I don't want to claim that, but I do support like our president. Is that okay? I don't want to like break the rules.
Yeah.
But
No. That's
Okay.
fine. You're following the rules. Don't know why you wouldn't claim MAGA, but okay, it's whatever. Let me just thank 3 people real quick. Brad, thank you for the $20 over on YouTube. Thank you for the $20, Brad. Brad says DNC allowance. I'll have the rest later, bro. Brad, thank you so much for the bread. Let's show some love to Stephanie and Brad down below, as well as Sammy. Thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo, saying I miss when being a Christian actually meant you cared about all people, kind of like what Christ actually taught. No, absolutely. It is just disgusting how so many people have contorted the religion. As well as Adriline, thank you for the $10 on PayPal, saying thank you for debating the brainless people. You're welcome. Thank you for the $10. Corbin with a 5 saying, hey man, big fan. Thank you for the love. And I go live 7 days a week. Jessica with a 5 and another Jessica with another 5. I love you too. Thank you. As well as Sasha with the $10 over on PayPal, saying I think it's a little weird that Trump supporters are mostly Christians who hate undocumented immigrants and are against abortion. I guess they must be evil. There's a lot of good Christians. I do want to highlight that, but so many people have falsely represented the faith. And the Trump supporter that we had up, Mr. Balance, is on pause. Balance, if you'd like to come back onto the TikTok app, I'll happily have a discussion with you.
Wait, I'm back. Sorry.
Perfect. So why do you support Trump? Let's hear it.
So it's like for me, I just feel like I have like a weird take on politics, in the sense of like, I really liked Obama and I really liked Trump, and I really liked Obama because like I thought he was like a really good leader, and I think like ethics wise, like he was awesome, right?
So what about Trump? Why do you like Trump?
I like Trump because of I feel like the stigma with like Americans, and like we were seen as like weak or kind of we didn't have our shit together when we had Biden in office, and that was like more of like from my perspective, right? Which is like I think what you want us to
No, that's
share.
just what the TV
right?
told you.
Say again. I don't really watch TV, but it's more so for me, like I travel and like in my interactions,
Listen,
right?
I have,
Like
I have a
Americans.
question.
Wait, can I finish my point though, or is?
Yeah, I mean, I like to respond, but go for it.
But it's like Americans were seen as like ignorant or arrogant, right? Like that's like a typical stereotype, right? And I don't disagree with that, but it's like, would you rather be like seen like as like weak as well and arrogant? Like, isn't that kind of like ironic in a sense?
I have 2 points for you.
Go
First and
ahead.
foremost, nobody's more weak and more arrogant than Trump. Second of all,
Why do
we
you
are,
say he's weak?
we are,
Sorry.
if you allow
Yeah.
me to finish speaking, you asked
Yeah,
me to
my
allow
bad.
you to finish, so now you allow me to finish. Second of all, let's make this incredibly, incredibly clear. Our country looks stronger internationally when we have a president with one consistent message and one consistent fight for what they believe in. We
Okay.
look significantly weaker and worse internationally when we have one president with an inconsistent message, such as imposing tariffs, revoking tariffs, imposing them, revoking them, imposing them, revoking them, or stopping funding to Ukraine, resuming funding to Ukraine, stopping funding to Ukraine, resuming funding to Ukraine, or saying they're the most pro-Israel president ever, then getting mad at Netanyahu on the phone, but then not saying that Palestine is a state, but then also helping them in their ethnic cleansing, et cetera, et cetera. And that's a fact. So the idea, the myth that this country looks stronger under Donald Trump's leadership is nothing more than propaganda that exists on the American television, not in the minds, thoughts, or beliefs of anybody living outside of America or the leadership of any country that isn't America.
Yeah, I think those are good points. Like I don't disagree with that. And that but that's like my thing is like I still like the question, right, you have is like, do you still support Trump? Like, so do you feel, right, if someone shares views that you don't agree with, do you feel like as a citizen of like your country, do you feel like it's negative or like has a positive impact by not supporting them? Like
Has
what
a
do you
positive
think?
impact to not support a president if the president is doing bad things.
So, but like, so it's like, but like, do you think like that like is like a bad thing to support him, even if you don't support everything? If that makes sense.
It's a bad thing to support him if overall the presidency is a total negative impact on the country and on the world.
But like, would you say like everything he's done has been like inherently bad, like across the board?
Okay, you're just asking me questions. Is this an interview?
I mean, is it not? Like we're trying to find common ground. I thought a debate is a back and forth, is it not?
So I don't think that everything Donald Trump has ever done is bad. I just think that
Okay.
99% of the things that Donald Trump has ever done is bad.
I think 99. Like literally, or are you just being like facetious?
No, I'm being pretty literal. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, I feel like that's not a good point, but I feel like your other take I do agree with.
Okay,
But it's
so then
just
give me
like
a
for
handful of
like,
good things
I
that Trump has
feel-
done. Let's hear it.
Say again.
So then give me a handful of good things that Trump has done.
Like I think like him and like strong arming the ceasefire agreement was like pretty positive. Like I
Ceasefire
think
agreement where?
in Israel and like did he not help that?
What
Did he not have
ceasefire
a
agreement did he strong arm?
in Israel?
Dude, there's unironically like a child dying every single day on the Gaza Strip because of the stage 5 famine onset by Israeli blockades. There's no ceasefire.
So that's 100% his fault.
What? What's
You-
100%
you-
whose fault?
Like we're using bad statistics, right? You're saying 99% of the things he's done is bad, right? So is that 100% his fault?
Is what 100% whose fault?
Is that 100% Trump's fault that there are children dying? You said on the Gaza
No,
Strip,
that's not 100% Trump's fault. How does this relate to the point?
but you asked me what was your question?
I
What has
asked you
he
to give
done?
me a handful of good things that Trump has done. You said that he was able to achieve a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas.
And I said he
And
had
then
a
I
positive
responded to that.
impact
And then I
on the
responded to that by pointing out that there is no ceasefire, and I have no clue what you're talking about.
So there
And-
is
and then I
no
gave-
ceasefire
then I gave-
agreement at all.
Then I exactly none.
Okay, so then maybe I'm misinformed because my understanding of it is it seems like there has been an agreement, and that is the last update that I've seen.
No.
So then I'm
Yeah, man,
misinformed.
you are just misinformed. Is there any other good things that you could point out that Trump has done? I'd love to talk to them. Love to talk about them with you. That makes you support him.
that makes me support. I mean, I feel like as an American, I feel like it is my job to support like my president, right? Like
No,
I
it's
don't.
not. No, it's not. I fucking hate this rhetoric. No, you don't blindly support
Okay, but that's
people in
what I'm
positions
saying.
of
It's like,
power.
how are you gonna ask me a question and it's like you continue just like cut me off? You know,
Because you're
it's
already
like,
repeating that what we've already gone over. It's not a good thing to blindly support those that are in power, because when you have power, you could influence the lives of others. And one hidden check/balance of any well-functioning democracy would be the social support for or against, like a president and what they're doing. So if we have a president that is doing a whole lot of bad things, it is actually your civil duty to enact that hidden check and balance, which would be public support for or against it, and advocate against it and voice your support for somebody else and voice your support against the president, right? So I completely get it, right? If you're telling me that you support the president because the president is doing good things, but if you're giving me the argument that you support the president regardless of the fact that he's really hurting the country out of virtue of the fact that he is the president, at that point, you're just simply putting one person over the 330 million Americans that matter.
I think that's a little bit extreme, but I do agree with that point, like part of that point.
Okay, so if you agree with the part of the point, that would indicate that we just shouldn't blindly support the president, and we should in
Yeah,
fact
I
not
don't
support them
think
if
so.
they're
I
doing
think,
bad
like,
things.
that's
I will
why
once again
debates
ask you,
is public.
what are a handful of good things that Trump has done that have made you support him?
I just told you like one of the things that I thought was impactful in like a positive way, and I'm also starting to agree with you, and like what you're saying does make sense. Like you shouldn't like blindly follow, but it's like I feel like your debates, it's like I first found out about you and like Charlie Kirk was dodging you, and I thought that was like super funny, right? And like that was like the first thing that like made me catch wind of like your content. But like for me, it's like my impression, like politics is not like a big thing that I follow. Like I'm more of like if I want to make an impact on like my community, like I'm gonna be out and like volunteer or like do something to help those around me. You know what I mean? But I think debates help educate people like myself, right?
Yeah, for sure,
Where
man.
it's
I
like
think they definitely can. So how about we go over some other points? What are the reasons you possess insofar as why you support Trump? Let's hear it.
say again.
Why do you support Trump? Let's go over a couple more points. Let's see.
I already told like, but that's what I'm saying. It's like you're acting like I'm trying to prove that like he's a good guy or like that my president's good. I'm saying it's like no, like I think like in like okay, so like I felt like the economy was in a good place before COVID, right? And Trump was in office, correct?
Okay, so you think that Trump is good for the economy? Okay. I disagree.
like
I think that
at
he's passed
times-
really bad economic policy. So what
Not
is
gonna-
a good
like-
economic policy that you think Trump has passed?
But that's what I'm saying. It's like you're clearly more educated on the matter, right? And I feel like it's like your thing is like you're a strong debater, right? And you're very well educated. And it's like for people, it's like you're saying, oh, people in power like are, you know, like we need to hold them accountable and we can't just blindly follow them, you know? Like
Can we
right?
stick on one? Can we stick on one point at a time, please?
I feel like you don't do the same thing, but sure, we can try.
I am definitely trying to. You told me in a nutshell that you support Trump because you think he's good for the economy. Okay, so what is your favorite Trump economic policy?
But
Let's go.
but that's not even what I said.
Well, you
I
said
said
that the
I felt
economy
like
was good before
economy-
COVID when Trump was president.
I felt
I
like
thought
the
no one
economy
second,
was
allow me
in
to
a good
finish.
place.
So you told me that the
But no,
economy
it's like
you told me that the economy was good before COVID under Trump's presidency. In response to me asking you, what is a handful of good things Trump has done that has made you support him? If the obvious takeaway isn't that therefore you think that Donald Trump's good for the economy, well, then I'm just going to ask you to be more clear about the good things that you think Trump has done that makes you support him. This is now going to be my last time asking you the question. If you can't give me a clear response to this question, I'm unfortunately going to have to move on to the next guest. But I do want to give you a chance to make your voice heard. So give a clear reason why he's a good president, or unfortunately, I'm going to have to move on. I'm going to go and send you an invite to unmute your mic. Let's see if you could do it.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, like I'm not going to be able to. 'Cause I think you're just more vocal.
All right, I appreciate you so much for your time, man. Let's go to move on to the next guest, you guys. Hopefully, if you're in that queue and you want to come up here and talk to me about why you support Trump, you have reasons why you support Trump. We really shouldn't support people without reasons, especially the president. All right, everybody, we're going to get that next guest loaded up in the live right now. Welcome in, Are You MAGA? You have around 5 seconds before you get banned. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and banned. Moving on to the next guest. If you want to support me, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio, you guys. I get 100% of all the proceeds that are donated over on those platforms. and they all go straight to me. In fact, we have a couple to go over now because I do try to, shout them all out. Let's see here real quick. Jalen, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo, saying thank you for your charity work, talking to the MAGA cult. Thank you, Jalen. I appreciate your contribution. Same thing with Destiny with a 5. Thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. Anita with a 5 as well. Thank you so much. It's incredibly kind of you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then Stessy, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal, and David with the $5 as well, saying thank you for what you do. Thank you, David and Stessy. Hey, what's going on, Joe? Are you MAGA?
I wouldn't say completely MAGA, but I do support the president.
All right, man. It sounds like you got a Bluetooth device connected, like headphones or AirPods that you're talking to me through. If you disconnect those, I'll be able to hear you like a billion times better. All right.
Hello.
Hey, man. Welcome back in. So why do you support Trump?
Just better than what we had in the last administration.
Oh, I definitely disagree. I think that the Biden-Harris administration was one of the best administrations in modern American history for domestic policy.
No, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that. The crisis at the border was just irreversible. I mean, I'm pretty sure you saw the thing that happened here recently in Florida with the truck driver, and you just can't have a lot of people like that just coming to the country unvetted. But
just to be clear, like what?
What do you mean?
You said we can't have a lot of people like that coming into the country unvetted? Like what?
People that just cross the border illegally.
Okay.
There's ways to come into the country, and that's not the correct way to do it.
So do you think that the Biden-Harris administration opened the borders and allowed that?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you not remember when Joe Biden's administration told the Texas border to stand down?
Yeah, I remember when the Texas government violated the Constitution and tried to ingress upon federal territory.
No.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Well, if you're going to cross that federal territory, you're still going to go into Texas territory. Right. But anyway,
they just simply didn't have the legal jurisdiction to implement that border patrol. That was unconstitutional. It was it was the states' rights attempting to supersede the federal rights, and that's illegal.
Well, it is the United States, but that's for a court to decide. So anyway, but you obviously keep asking about the good things that Trump has done, and some of the things that I feel that he's done is he's trying to put America first.
Are you driving?
I am driving.
Okay, Joe, request so when you're not driving. We can't have you on TikTok when you are driving. That violates our TOS, but I'd love to talk to you. You know, it doesn't seem like we're getting many Trump supporters today. So, Joe, the moment you hop back in that queue, I'd love to have you up. Seriously, man, I'm telling you, like there's just nobody in the queue to debate. So if you pull over, if you get to where you're going and you hop back in the queue, I will happily have you back up here. Welcome in, Tully. Do you support Trump?
Hey, Dean. Yes, I do. Two specific.
We got to be able to fix that mic, my man. Disconnect Bluetooth, get closer to your phone. It sounds like you're like a million miles away and underwater. While you're fixing that, I'm going to thank a couple people. Yo, Goober, thank you so much for the $20 on Super Chat. Thank you, Goober. Thank you, Goober. Thank you so much. They say thank you for thank you so much for what you do, Dean. You inspire me to stand up for my beliefs. That's awesome. Just some love to Goober down below in those chats, y'all. As well as Robert. Thank you for the $25 on PayPal. Robert says Trump should make his sleeping pills because his supporters are boring with the same old points. You know, honestly, like we haven't even really found many Trump supporters today. It's pretty bad. And plus, that last guy just left. But thank you for the $25, Robert, and for the $20, Goober. Show some love to Goober and Robert down below. Let's get a bunch of W Goober and Robbers down below in that chat. Welcome in. Are you MAGA? G Hammer? Got you loaded in, man. What's up? You support Trump? G Hammer left, quite frankly. So we're going to move on to that next guest. We got Ricky tuning in. Here we go. Quite frankly. Hi, you support Trump? Oh, he's leaving too. Ricky's running. Oh, and he's back. Hi, are you MAGA? No, and he just left. There we go. Yo, Paul, thank you so much for the $25 on PayPal. Paul says, because I like your intelligence. Paul, my man, thank you so much. Can we please get 250 Paul W's? Thank you, Paul. Holy crap, you guys are being very kind today. Thank you so much, Paul. You are awesome. Let's get that next guest connected into the live. Everybody that we've had joining has been running. Hopefully we'll have a Trump supporter join up and stay. But right now, let me be honest with you guys. It looks like MAGA is dead. Seriously, we've been live for like over 2 hours. I don't think that we've had like one fleshed out debate. I think that MAGA is dead. What's up, man? You support Trump, Walker?
Hello, can you hear me?
I sure can.
I did a lot, especially there in 2020, but I've kind of stopped, but I still do kind of support him.
So that was a very confusing message I just received. You do, but you don't. Let's try to decipher that. In what ways do you still support him?
It's kind of withering away, I would say. But it's still kind of there.
Okay, in what ways do you still support him?
Like what it's done for the economy is what I can see. I'm still younger, and so I know like in 2020, I was paying almost $5 for gas. I'm 20.
Okay.
But I haven't done much research into the political space yet.
Okay.
And so I was paying like $5.50 for gas, and right now I'm paying $3.70. It's just like these things I can see.
Okay. So point number one, Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, came out today and said that Donald Trump's tariffs are causing inflation. His policy is inflationary. Point number two, his economic policy, the big beautiful bill, took purchasing power away from 150 million Americans. Every American making at or beneath $51,000 per year will have less money at the end of the year because of all of the cuts in the bill, according to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. So his tariffs are.
So can you like go into depth? Kind of like.
And his economic policy is taking your money from you. So you're gonna have less money with higher prices.
Then why are like some things kind of like gas getting a lot cheaper?
So gas actually isn't getting a whole lot cheaper. It did have a dip in its price for a little bit because some gas, oil futures, are traded on the stock market. And in Q1 of this year, Donald Trump's tariffs crashed the stock market, which made the price of everything lower, like 7% lower on average, which included the futures on oil, right? But that wasn't good. That was an indicator of a recession.
All right, thank you, man. I just want to come in and talk a little bit. I'm still doing a lot of research, though.
Yeah, for sure, man. Do you have a response to any of the things that I just said?
I just got to do research. I haven't really looked into it. I'll look into what you said, though. Definitely, man. Thank you for sharing these points.
Of course, man. I got to look at his PFP on the way out. I'm pretty sure that he had the racist profile picture. I'm sorry for not catching on to that. I'm sorry, chat. Thank you for letting me know. We're going to go get that next Trump supporter up here, I guess. Guys, I'm going to be honest. It looks like the Trump supporters aren't hanging out with us for too long. Looks like the Trump supporters aren't hanging out with us for too long today. I don't know what to tell you. I wish that they'd stick around and have a debate. Now, let's get that next guest up in here. As well as Annalise, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo, Annalise. You are awesome. Thank you so much, Annalise, on Venmo with the $20. Annalise with the $20 on Venmo says, I think I heard you say once that the big beautiful bill was trickled down, and I was wondering if you could explain that. Thank you. Yeah, it's trickled down in the sense that it's granting larger and disproportionately larger tax cuts to you the more money that you make. But it's only trickled down in that sense because Trump supporters, Republicans, the GOP calls giving rich people more money and poor people less money trickle down. But it doesn't actually trickle down. So hopefully that didn't confuse you. As well as, let's see here real quick. Oh my goodness. Paul, thank you so much for another $50 on PayPal. Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Annalise. Let's get 200 Annalise W's and 500 Paul W's. As well as Stargo, thank you for the future city over on TikTok. Holy crap. Thank you so much, Stargo. And then Paul with a 50 says this Trump guy is quite stupid, but yeah, Paul, I couldn't agree with you more. Shout out to Paul down below in that chat. And Stellar, thank you for the galaxy. Targum, thank you for the future city. You guys are being so kind today. Thank you so much for all the love. Thank you guys so much for all the love. Thank you a billion times over. As well as welcome in SC. Are you MAGA?
Oh, absolutely not.
Based, but banned. Because we're only looking to talk to Trump supporters. If you come up here and you're not a Trump supporter, I'm going to ban you. Moving on to Lynn. You know, if there's any women watching that support Trump that would like to come up and debate, I would love to have you here. Hi, welcome in. Are you MAGA?
No, not really, but I wanted to discuss the fact.
Banned. Moving on to the next guest. We got Yan loading up in the box. Follow the rules. We're going to go get that next guest connected right now. Quite frankly, guys, there's no Trump supporters around. MAGA is dead. We have 11.6 thousand people hanging out with us in the stream here today, and for whatever reason, there's nobody that wants to debate. Hello, Rocco.
Yo, can you hear me?
I sure can. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Beta.
Beta?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Makes you beta.
Doesn't make me beta.
Only beta.
I can have my opinion now.
Only beta males support Trump.
Actually, I feel like it's quite opposite. I feel like you're a beta if you support Biden. Yes.
What's your bench, bro?
What's my bench?
Yeah.
175.
Beta.
What's yours?
350.
Good for you. Okay, so I'd like
by
to
the way,
jump
I
in.
just do it with 2 fingers on the bar, like this. Go up and down.
What a legend. What a legend. What a
Okay,
legend.
all right. Why do you support Trump?
Okay. Let's jump in. All right, so I support Trump because genuinely, in my opinion, I think the economy is in just a better place. And I also feel like the political agenda of the Democratic Party has just been forced down so many throats of children, especially with the whole LGBTQ.
We won't be able to talk too much about that because TikTok loves to restrict that.
Oh, okay.
I'll see if I could find a way to touch on it in my response. And I apologize for cutting you off. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to touch on those 2 bases. But if I could ask you a question, why do you think the Democratic Party is actually better than the Republican Party?
Oh boy, there's about a million reasons why I think the Dems are better than the Republicans. And we'll go over those. First, I want to respond to the 2 points you just brought up. You said the economy's in a better spot. According to what variable? I'm not going to lie. It seems like every macroeconomic variable that we have access to right now is worse today than it was a year ago under Biden. GDP growth is down to an annualized of 1.6% compared to 2.5% last year. Inflation is up and it is rising specifically because of Donald Trump's economic policies, tariffs, per the chairman of the Fed and his speech that he gave earlier this morning. The price of all groceries are going up, and they're going up faster today than they were a year ago. We see that long-term unemployment is at an all-time high since 2017, excluding the pandemic. Unemployment generally is up to 4.3%. Consumer confidence and consumer spending are down. And in fact, this is one of the main reasons why the first quarter of this year, we saw GDP growth go down. During the second quarter of this year, only 52% of S&P 500 companies reported profits. That's also down. For all of these reasons and more, it doesn't really look like things are going too well. And to respond to your comment that the GDP growth was down in the first quarter of this year, and that's because of interest rates. No, interest rates were higher in Q4 of 2024 than they were in Q1 of 2025.
I was adding to the point that consumer spending is down. That's simply because of interest rates. There's no debate for that.
There is, because it's down from a year ago when interest rates were higher.
Well, a year ago, Biden was in presidency, so.
Okay,
you haven't really...
but this doesn't. That's not relevant to your argument. You said it's down because of interest rates. No, it's down from a year ago when interest rates were higher a year ago. So are you saying that lower interest rates cause lower consumer spending?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, give me an argument that lower interest rates cause lower consumer spending.
Okay, what do you mean? No. Okay, that's my bad. I thought you meant higher interest rates. No, lower interest rates create higher consumer spending. Sorry.
Right, and consumer spending is down, but interest rates are also down.
They're supposed to be cut soon. I'm expecting a rate cut actually in September.
This doesn't change that consumer spending is down, and so are interest rates. Are more rate cuts coming? Yes. But have rate cuts occur in the last 365 days? Also yes. Is consumer spending down in the last 365 days?
Wait, when was a rate cut made? When was the last rate cut?
Fed rate cuts. Like in the last couple months. Let's see.
I wasn't one in the last couple months. I don't think so.
U.S. federal interest rates. Let's see if I could find it on a graph. In the meantime, guys, make sure that we're double tapping away on that phone screen. Yep, there was a rate cut in December of last year. There's a rate cut in November of last year. There's a rate cut in October of last year, and there's a rate cut in August and
Okay,
September.
yeah. So we haven't seen a rate cut in a while, but I'm expecting a rate cut in September.
But you're telling us that interest rates cause lower consumer confidence in spending, but consumer confidence in spending is down from a year ago when we had higher interest rates a year ago.
Yes, but that's kind of straying from the topic. I'm trying to stay on more on like the tariff side and like.
Wait, but you made it. But you made a clear statement that the reason that consumer confidence is down is because of interest rates. I've proven that.
Well, that's just a basic fact. When interest rates are higher, consumer confidence is lower and consumer spending is lower. That's a basic fact that anyone knows. This is simple. That's all I was trying to touch on.
I'm not going to play this shitty game with you. I brought up that GDP growth is down under Donald Trump's second administration. You responded to that by saying, well, that's because of interest rates. GDP growth is down today compared to what it was a year ago. We know that this growth is down, not because of interest rates, as interest rates were higher a year ago. So you are wrong. And that's a fact. Stop tiptoeing around that fact. Thank you. Unmute and go ahead. Sir, you have to hit on a click on your profile picture in the bottom right corner. There you go. So now please respond to my very simple argument that I used to prove you wrong.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can. Just not in anyways. Just
Hello?
respond to me proving you wrong.
Are we all good?
Yes. Now please respond to me proving you wrong. Without a pivot, without a deflection.
Yeah. No, I was just saying. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Okay, sounds good. Yeah, no, completely. To what you said about GDP growth, you were mistaken. I said to the comment before that how consumer spending is down, and that's because of interest rates. I see your point on how interest rates may be high from this time last year, but in my opinion, I think we're not going to see the true effects of the economy being benefited directly even a year into his presidency. And not only that, the stock market and the crypto market is booming like crazy right now. And there's no, oh my God, what?
Because once again, you're just denying the very simple argument. Nothing you said right there refuted the reasons I gave you insofar as why you were wrong when you prescribed the reason that consumer spending is down is because of interest rates. Saying that they're going to dip further in the future doesn't change the fact that you were wrong when you said the reason why consumer spending is already down is because of interest rates. Saying that the full effects of the Trump administration are yet to be seen doesn't dispute the fact that I proved you wrong by pointing out that interest rates were higher a year ago, even though consumer spending is down now, refuting your claim that interest rates have caused a reduction in consumer spending in Q1 and Q2 of this year. My brother in Christ, if you can't accept this, there's literally no point in continued conversation with you because this is a no fucking brainer. You said something false. Whatever. I proved it wrong. And you're still squirming? Even though it was a simple refutation? Come on, man. I'll give you one last chance. Just own it. Just admit that you're wrong. Unmute. Try again. Click on your profile picture and click the icon of the mic.
You hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. For the sake of the argument, I will admit.
For the sake of the argument, I'm going to kick you. Because it's not for the sake of the argument. Whoa! Dude! Dean says consumer spending is down today compared to where it was at a year ago. He says that's because of the interest rates. which would imply the interest rates are higher today than they were a year ago. Dean corrects by pointing out that the interest rates are lower today than they were a year ago. Dean spends 10 minutes of trying to convince this fool of a single sentence. And then he finally says, not because you're right, but to further the conversation, I'll accept it. Get the fuck out of my live. What? Don't be children. If you're going to come up here, don't be a child.
Hello?
Hi, what's up? Do you support Trump?
I support Trump more than Biden.
Oh, good. Well, Kamala Harris is who ran against him, but, let's have that conversation. Let's
Okay,
talk about
well,
why you support Trump. Quickly
Same
before
thing,
you do.
pretty much.
No, Biden and Kamala Harris are two different people. But quickly before I let you have that mic, I do want to just thank a couple of people. Lily, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. Lily says, I went to GJ yesterday, and holy crap, it's hot. I'm not sure how you do that. Love you. Lily, it was like so fucking hot in GJ yesterday. It was so bad, but thank you for the $10. As well as Zola, thank you for the $30 over on Venmo. Thank you for the love, Zola. That is ZOLA. Thank you so much. Zola with the $30 says, I love your content and getting educated from your videos. I had a lot more to say, but there's a limit. Well, just know, Zola, that I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for the love and the contribution of the $30 donation. It means so much, and that is so much money. So just thank you, and I mean that seriously. You're so kind. Everybody show some love to Zola down below in that chat for the $30. As well as Shelly with the $10 on Venmo saying, did you see what DeSantis did to the Pulse Memorial in Orlando? I did. Sick. It is absolutely disgusting. But thank you for the $10, Shelly. Show some love to Shelly down below. And then Kay with the $5 over on Venmo, as well as Martya, Martyna. Thank you so much for the $26 over on PayPal. Thank you for the love, Martyna. Show some love to Martyna down below in that chat. They said in Poland, we laugh, haha, America picked Trump. But then we look at our own new president, and it's like, oh shit, we did the exact same thing. Who's running Poland now? But thank you for the $26. Show some love to Martya down below in that chat. Thank you so much for the love. And then Lainey with the $15. Thank you, Lainey, saying thank you for fighting the good fight. Well, thank you so much for the contribution. Then same thing, Layla with the $15 says, love the work that you're doing. Thank you, Layla. I appreciate you for being here and watching the streams. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. And then Kimberly, of course, with the $2 over on Venmo. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, everybody, for contributing to and supporting the stream. I appreciate your donations, and you guys mean the absolute world to me. Show some love to the donors down below in that chat while we unmute the guest and we allow her to tell us why she supports Trump. Just once again, thank you. Round a billion times over. Go ahead.
So, I actually don't support him. I just wanted to say that. If you support either.
All right, we're going to move on to the next guest. Heidi, thank you for the $1 over on PayPal. Thank you. Moving on to the next guest. We got Joe back in the queue. Mr. Joe is coming back. Hi, Joe.
Hello.
Welcome back, man.
I reached my destination, so
very nice, very nice.
Just so you know, it's okay to talk and drive on the phone. It's hands-free. It's not against the law.
Fun fact, it is actually against the law where I live. I'm sure it's not against the law in other places, but it is against the terms of service of TikTok.
Well, okay, TikTok.
Do you mind if I raise a point?
Go ahead.
I'm not saying that TikTok is a government body, but they are the governance of these live streams because we're on their platform. Now, Now, here's a point that I like to bring up. Do you consider yourself a patriot?
A patriot, of course.
Oh, do patriots support core American values such as the American Constitution?
Of course.
Oh, so would you as a patriot that supports the Constitution ever support a non-patriot running for president that doesn't support the Constitution?
How so? An example.
Oh, sure. I'll give you an example. Donald Trump. In December of 2022, he explicitly called for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution and Truth Social posts. And on January 20th, his first day in office, he passed Executive Order number 14160 that explicitly contradicted the 14th Amendment and repealed constitutional rights from those in which have them.
Well, didn't Kamala want to somehow curtail the First Amendment, and we should probably censor some things that are on social media?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, you have actually already conceded this argument because we were just talking about the TikTok terms of service and how they impose rules and regulations on what you can and can't do / say on their platform.
Okay, but I'm not forced to use
allow me to finish. Allow me to finish, Joe. And then you brought up how like TikTok wasn't a governing body, and they can choose what rules they enforce, what language and speech they prevent, etc. Well, guess what? the Constitution only applies to governing bodies, to the government, right? So social platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, and so
Well, the
on actually can
Constitution
choose what
applies
individuals
to
can
American
and
citizens.
can't say on it.
But anyway.
Well, you just said that the Constitution only applies to citizens? You're wrong.
Well, okay. Let's go back to your original point of why you want, what good has Donald Trump done or whatever.
No, you're running away. Because remember, I asked you if you support the Constitution. You said yes. Then I asked you if you would ever support a president that wouldn't support the Constitution. You didn't really answer. But then I gave you explicit examples of how Donald Trump has violated it, such as Executive Order number 14160 when he tried to repeal birthright citizenship away from the children of undocumented immigrants.
Violated it? Come on, you're gonna sit there and cherry pick certain things. Every president that's been in office has done something that's questionable. Bill Clinton was impeached. There's a lot of things. Okay, so
So when did Biden or Harris explicitly pass an executive order that explicitly? No. Let me respond to that. When did Biden or Harris pass an executive order that explicitly contradicted the Constitution knowingly, just to take constitutional rights away from those that deserve it?
I don't know everything that they did under their terms.
Oh.
Their administration. I'm not invested in every little thing that happens politically.
Oh.
Obviously you are, because you love to bring up the talking points.
So, I mean, do you support Donald Trump passing that executive order taking birthright citizenship away from the children of undocumented immigrants born on American soil illegally?
No, I do not support that.
Oh, okay.
I believe if you're born in the United States, however you got here, you're an American citizen, correct?
Okay, so you accept that this was a mark of authoritarianism when he attempted to circumvent the power vested in Congress to change the Constitution and the power vested in SCOTUS to interpret it?
But I'm not going to say he's perfect, and I'm not going to agree with everything he did, because I'm pretty sure you didn't agree with everything that Biden and Harris did.
Right. No, absolutely. But authoritarianism is kind of a big deal, right?
So, but the point is when I came across your channel, you're asking like what things Donald Trump has done or why do you support him?
Yeah, tell me what's more important than the bad generated by literal authoritarianism. Let's hear it.
God. Okay. So the reason that I support him is because of the things that he wanted to change in our country. There's a lot of things like having a more secure border. In his first administration, he wanted to make it to where medical insurance companies couldn't, it could be over all the states, not just certain states. I mean, are you familiar with healthcare? Do you have health insurance?
I do have health insurance, yeah.
Do you pay for it, or is it like, are you on your parents' plan, or how does it work?
I'm on the parents' plan.
Exactly. So you don't feel that pinch when a policy or an insurance changes.
Right. So if you don't think that we should change
let me
healthcare,
ask you, just real quick, how old are you? I want to know how old are you?
Yeah, I'm 20.
You're 20. You're not even 21.
I turned 21 in literally 8 days.
And how long have you been following politics?
How long have I been following politics? Last couple of years.
Okay. So I appreciate your passion. Yeah. I don't agree with probably more than half of what you say, but I get it. This is the time that you're born. If you want to know, I'm 52 years old. Okay.
Let me know when I can talk. I have a lot to say to you. I do.
Well, but the thing is that the one thing that I have that you don't is life experience.
Okay. And the one thing that I have that you don't is an open, rational mind. For instance, because you have deluded yourself.
You are going to assume that I don't have an open, rational mind. I find that insulting.
Well, I found your comments earlier insulting, and I'll explain why. You have put yourself in a supposed position of authority and or superiority because you have spent 52 rotations around the sun on this earth, but because of this self-assumed position of authority and superiority, you seem to forget common sense. I mean, you just went on a little bit of a tangent about how bad changing healthcare policy is and how drastic some of the shifts under the ACA were, but then you just completely ignore and leave out the fact that under the big, beautiful bill, Donald Trump defunded Medicaid by $900 billion, kicked 10 million low-income Americans off, and for everybody that remained on it, are now spending an additional 75% on their premiums. And the reason you left that out is because you've deluded yourself into thinking because you're 52 years old, you got it right a long time ago. So when new information presents itself to you, such as the big beautiful bill did in July, you just simply ignore it. And I find that problematic. I understand that I'm younger than you. I understand that I have less life experience than you, but I don't think that the times you have been around the sun necessarily inform you on how intelligent, how knowledgeable, or how right you are. Right? And hopefully, my argument here is
you haven't felt the pain. You don't know what it's like to go through those policy changes, president after president, job after job. There's a lot of things that's wrong with healthcare.
Are you pro-life?
The Democrats don't get it right. The Republicans don't get it right. I don't want to talk about healthcare because the whole system is terrible.
We
can
pro-life?
agree on that.
Are you pro-life?
I'm sorry?
Are you pro-life?
Am I pro-life?
Yeah.
I am pro-life.
Really? Because you just got done telling me that I can't talk about healthcare because I haven't felt the pain. Guess what? You haven't been pregnant. You don't have a uterus. You shouldn't be able to talk about abortion.
I never said I couldn't talk about abortion or I shouldn't talk about abortion.
Right. In fact, you said
that it
that
takes
you
two to
should have a
tango.
say because you're the one
It takes two to
that told us you're
tango.
pro-life.
It takes two to tango.
Tango being
You can
sex,
have a
not pregnancy.
Yeah, but the only difference between the fact that the woman carries the child to term. Are we going to argue about whether it's a child or not, or is it a clump of cells?
No,
or
I'm just simply pointing out your own
you've been
hypocrisy.
brainwashed?
No,
Have you
listen,
been brainwashed
Joe.
like that?
The hypocrisy that I'm pointing out right now is very clear. You just got done shitting on me because I'm 20, telling me that I haven't felt the pain of these policies, therefore I can't talk about these policies. Have you ever felt the pain of a pregnancy?
Yes, I have.
Really?
Not me personally, but I've...
Right, not you personally.
No, but I've gotten a woman pregnant.
Oh, so you think in my 20 years of life, I haven't personally spoken to, associated with, or been in communication with somebody that has felt the pain of policy from the 90s? You should just go ask my parents. So now you're telling me because you've been in proximity of individuals that have been pregnant, you have a right to talk about pregnancy. So because I've been in proximity of individuals that have impacted from policy from the 90s, I have right to talk about any of these policies, including healthcare. So respond to me because I have that right. How do you feel about the Trump administration kicking 10 million people off of Medicaid when it's already such a shitty, broken system? They're only making it worse. And somehow you support that? Come on, Joe.
Well, I don't know the ins and outs of whatever he's trying to change in that Medicaid, whatever.
Well, just
like
ask
I said,
me, I'll tell you.
Well, I don't care because the things that I'm concerned about is my tax dollars, where they go, what they're used for, how much that affects me personally. And so, yes, when I hear America First, when I hear they want to bring manufacturing jobs back to the United States, we're not dependent on the rest of the world for manufacturing, just like in COVID. Everything that was overseas, we didn't have it here. This country should be able to stand on its own 2 feet in every aspect that we need.
You just said the quiet part out loud. You just said the quiet
What?
part out loud. It is me, 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 me. I don't care if 10 million low-income Americans are losing access to talk to a doctor. I don't care if 10 million low-income Americans are losing access to get that skin dot checked out that could be cancer. I don't care if 10 million low-income Americans are now going to possibly die because they can't go to the hospital because of a rash on their arm. Listen. You should. Why should you? It's simple. They're people just like me, just like you, and they matter. Another reason why you should care, that is also incredibly and abundantly clear here, is when the constituent base of America is worse off, America as a whole is worse off. How can you expect low-income Americans to have more economic mobility to scale their income, to work, and to thrive, when now they can't go to the doctor because of a bad cough and potential pneumonia, right?
Okay,
So not
well,
only
why-
should you
why
care
would you-
out of
why would
basic
you
human
want-
decency, common sense,
Hold
and
on.
empathy,
Okay, you said your
but you
point.
should
Now let me
also
say
care
mine.
because of its
Listen.
impacts on the country as a whole.
Dean, come on. Look, you're making it sound like daddy government is going to be the solution to all of your problems. They're the ones that are going to give you health care because you can't afford it. The government is not there to solve every little problem that is in your life. So healthcare is not something the government should be messing with. That should be something that private industry does. They can regulate certain things. In my opinion, healthcare should be nonprofit. None of these insurance companies should profit from people that will indefinitely, at some point, get sick or need healthcare. That to me is disgusting. The fact that you can't sit there and have
it's funny. You
You
just contradicted yourself.
the point is
the only
the point is
realistic nonprofit or organized structure of
government to
healthcare
sit
would
there
be
and
government-run
solve
healthcare.
every problem that you have.
The only way to like truly take profit motivation.
Who pays
out
for
of
Medicaid?
healthcare, taxpayers.
Who pays for Medicaid?
Taxpayers. Who pays for public roadways?
And they pay it through what?
Through taxes.
Yes. Okay, but no. You pay for taxes roadways when you register your car.
We're losing you. We're losing you.
Or you're not purchasing gas. My point is the government does not need to offer you health care. Things should change to where it's more affordable and people don't have to rely on the government.
Okay.
That is my point.
I think that they're losing.
The problem with the Democrat Party is they want the government to be. They're going to come up with a solution.
Oh, my friend.
Make in your life 24/7, every little aspect of your life.
Oh, my friend. Okay.
And I'm years or you're 5 years or whatever. You haven't experienced that.
Joe.
So yes,
Joe.
I do have some life experience.
My friend, you're gonna have to fix that internet connection. 52 years of living on this earth, and you can't get more than 20 megabytes down. Pretty sad, man. Fix that internet connection. I have a couple people to thank. John,
I'm in my car in the driveway. I can't help where T-Mobile is.
Okay, it's a little bit better now. Mega
So
is doing a little bit better.
now you're gonna attack me because of a worse connection.
Only
Come on,
because you
dude.
attacked me because of my age. Come on, dude. Let me thank a couple people real quick. John, thank you for the $25 over on Venmo. John says, just simple thanks for the fight. Thank you, John. It's so good to see you again today. Thank you, John. As well as Amelia with a $10 saying, happy early birthday, Dean. He left. I donated a couple lives ago, but I want to say thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Amelia. Then Zola once again with a $10 over on Venmo. Zola says, I just needed to pay you more for clocking Joe so hard with hypocrisy and the pregnancy comments as an individual who has had an abortion. Zola, you're so based. Thank you for the $10. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. As well as Andrew with the $10 saying, much love from a blue speck in a red state, Louisville, Kentucky. You rock. Bro, Andrew, my man. W. Andrews, W. Zolas, W. Amelias, W. Jones. I appreciate every single one of y'all more than you will ever know. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Including Ellen with the $10 on PayPal saying, I'm 51 and I agree with you. Age doesn't always equate to intelligence. Absolutely, Ellen. Raven with a $10 saying, love watching you. Thank you, Raven. Amelia with a 2. Ajax with a 7. Gretchen with a 3. And Martina with a 1. All right, everybody. We got another restriction on the live. We're going to have to restart soon, but fuck it. We still have over 10,000 people in here, so I'm not going to restart yet. We'll leave that off until we need to. What's going on, Jackson? Do you support the worst president of your life, Mr. Donald Jimothy Trump?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, guess what? We only talk to adults, so you would be banned. Yo! Oh my God, bro, Anne. I'm sorry for screaming. I'm sorry, guys. Anne, thank you so much for the $200 donation over on PayPal. Anne, oh my goodness, bro, dude. Everybody watching, show some love to Anne down below in that chat for the $200. Anne, thank you. You were so kind. Incredibly generous. That is so much money. That is literally so much. I do not deserve a penny of it. That is so much fucking money, and I want to see a bajillion ANNEWs down below in that comment section, and didn't even leave a message. She just donated $200 with no message at all, and all the love in the world to you. That is so incredibly kind. Show some love to Anne down below right now. As well as Heather. Thank you for the $10 saying Joe knows nothing about the BBB. He said it himself, but he's trying to argue that it's good. Yup. But Anne, seriously, once again, thank you so much for the $200. And welcome in Streets. Do you support Trump?
Of course, bro.
Okay, howdy.
That's good. 21.
And why do you support Trump?
Whenever Biden was in office, life sucked. Life doesn't suck anymore.
So what's gotten better in the last 200 days?
Gas.
The quality of your life is purely dependent on the price of gas?
Yes.
Okay. It sounds like you live a very interesting life. I'll leave it at that.
What were you gonna say there? What were you gonna say? I live a what life?
I was gonna say poor life, but I didn't want that to be confused for like being like literally poor, as in like a poor quality of life. But so I chose a better word so it wasn't misconstrued. So that's why I said interesting instead of poor, because I didn't want that to be misconstrued and misunderstood. Now, what has Donald Trump done to reduce the price of gasoline?
I don't know. Last year it was like $4.60, something like that. It sounded like $2.70, bro.
Oh, so just anything that happens in the country is to blame on the president?
Not anything.
Okay,
or
well, then why is
everything.
this thing to blame on the president?
Because last year it was basically the main focus on what was like super.
Okay, check this out. In the first quarter of this year, our GDP
Bro,
went
it's not
down.
21.
Was that Trump's doing? God damn! He said, see you later. He said, goodbye. Oh, and he said hello. Hi. So do you want to answer my question?
The question was?
So the first quarter of this year, our GDP literally went down. Was that also Trump's fault?
No.
Oh, but it happened in the country while he was president. So seemingly we can't just blame anything that happens in the country while they were president.
But I did just say that I don't believe everything falls onto the president.
Okay, so then what's a relevant distinction between our GDP going down and our gas going down that makes you blame gas going down on him, but doesn't make you blame the GDP going down on him? Very simple question.
It's a good question.
Oh.
It is a good question. I see where you're coming from, bro.
Hell yeah, man. See, that's why we can't just basically associate anything that happens in the country on the presidency. And if we do want to say that the president caused something to happen in the country, we got to have an argument for it, backed with fact, reason, policy, action, etc. And because you don't have any of that as it relates to the price of gas, right? You can't just say he caused the price of gas to go down. In fact, the reason why we saw a lot of gas go down was because of the stock market crashes in the first quarter, reducing the price of future barrels of oil, which are being served to you today. But that wasn't a good thing. That was literally an indicator of a recession.
Can I get a question you like to ask people?
What's that?
The what I like about Trump question that you ask people.
Well, unfortunately, we got to restart the live stream. Plus, I'm not sure if you are 21. M, thank you for the $2 over on Venmo, saying happy early birthday, Dean W for Virgos. Thank you, M. Julie with a $5 saying, has a Trump supporter ever made a point that truly made you think? I think there's been a couple. And let's also see here. Yo, Autumn, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Show some love to Autumn down below in that chat. Autumn says, thank you for putting up with these people on a daily basis. I don't know how you do it. Get yourself a celebratory B-Day drink in 8 days. Yeah, thank you, Autumn. It's very kind of you. I have exciting birthday plans. I'm going to go out to Boulder, and it's going to be fun. Hey, now, for the 9.1 thousand people in the stream, it's restart time. Yippee! Unfortunately. Here's what we got to do. We just have to restart the live stream. The last time we did a restart, I timed it. It took 4 seconds. So these are very these are very quick. If you want to make sure that you'll be able to find your way back into the stream after the restart, hit this follow button. It should be around here where my finger's pointing. If it's red, hit that shit, right? Now, here's how to come back even quicker. After the restart, this is how you immediately come back. Once the live ends, you will see something that looks a lot like this pop up on your phone screen. Okay? It will say that the live ended. Sorry. And then you'll see my profile picture. Click on the profile picture. Once you click on that profile picture, it'll direct you to my account page. Count to 10, swipe down and refresh the account, and then click on that profile picture, and you'll be directed into the new live. I like the aim for like 70% retention. So honestly, if we could have like 7,000 of you guys come back, that would be awesome. So if you're considering not coming back, please just do. Even if you just hang out for a little bit, it'll really help the live send out. But let's go ahead and do that restart now. I'm going to count down from 10. By the time I'm at 1, I'll be back on live. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. And we're already back on live. Literally took 5 seconds this time. That's crazy. That's good. That's pretty good, man. Let me tell you. That's pretty impressive. 5-second restart. LFG. LFG. 5-second restart. 5-second restart. For everybody tuning back in, guys, make sure they were double tapping on that phone screen. Yo! Oh my goodness, do we have 2 people to thank. Rachel, thank you so much for the $40 donation on PayPal. Sorry, in Venmo. Holy crap, Rachel. Thank you. Thank you so much. Jeez. Rachel says, you make me hopeful for the future of politics. Thank you, Rachel. I'm happy that you're here, and I'm happy that I make you hopeful. For everybody watching, let's get 4,000 Rachel W's for the $40. Thank you so much. You were so awesome. As well as Nikki, thank you for the $50. Jesus, Nikki, that is so kind of you. That's kind of both you, Rachel and Nikki. Show some love to Rachel and Nikki. Nikki says, do you think we will really survive Trump? If I'm being honest, I think that the country will. We're strong, man. This country is strong. I think that we will. I think that we will. I'm an optimist. I truly am. But great question, and thank you for the $50 once again. That is so much love. I do not deserve a penny of that. If everybody watching can please show some love to Rachel and Nikki while we're loading up that next guest, that'd be sweet. As well as, never mind. All right, let's go to get that next guest loaded up into the box. Right now, everybody, hop in that queue of your MAGA. We'll get you loaded in. Make sure that you're following the rules too, please, guys. Make sure that you're following the rules. And then once again, Rachel and Nikki, thank you both for the $50 and $40. Just one last time. Hey, welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay, all right. Real quick, Katrina, thank you for the $15 on Venmo. Thank you, Katrina. Katrina says, consider a collab with Stephen West from Philosophize This and discuss logic and arguments. I'll have to look him up. Thank you for the input, Katrina. Show some love to Katrina down below. All right, Mr. Sir, why the hell are you MAGA?
I would just say one of the main reasons would be I'm pro-life.
Oh, okay, Jackson. How pro-life are you?
If it's past conception, then it would be wrong to abort.
Okay, in like all circumstances? Or do you make exceptions for life of the mother and grape?
I'd make exception for like life of the mother, but not for grape.
Jesus Christ, why, man? I mean, actually, here's a better question. What obligation does the victim of grape have to provide for the needs of the fetus?
Well, I think that, like, first off, like, you know, in a situation like that, it's a traumatic experience, right? Like, I'm not like putting it lightly to like what happened to that victim. I don't think like a result of getting an abortion is going to fix a past and what happened. And I don't think that as a result of...
Can you answer my question? I asked you a very clear question. Why is the victim of grape obligated to keep that fetus alive by giving it their bodily resources without consent?
Because if they... I would say because if they didn't, then it would result in them dying.
Oh, come on. That's not enough for an obligation. That's not enough for an obligation at all. If somebody is breaking into your house at night and... What the fuck? We already got another live visibility restriction? Damn, that's crazy. We're going to have to do another restart. What the hell? I don't know what's going on today. Maybe it's because of that. I think it's that. Okay, it should be fixed now. We still will have to do another restart. So you're saying they have an obligation to keep them alive because if they disconnected, then they die, right? Okay. All right. So if somebody's like breaking into your house at night and stealing half your food, and you know they're going to do this for like 9 months, and you know that this is going to really starve you, and it might even kill you, and all you had to do to prevent them from breaking in and stealing half your food was to lock your front door at night, but you also knew that'd cause them to die from starvation. Do you think you should be legally obligated to keep your door unlocked?
I would say like as like human beings, we have like we should have the intention of trying to help everyone that we can within our capabilities, right? So
but should you be legally obligated to keep your front door unlocked?
It would really, I would say like no, but it would really like that situation is very vague. It's like that person's like out there starving or whatever, you know, like how'd they end up in that situation? I think it would be like a case by case kind of thing.
Okay, so you just told us that no, just simply stating that if you stop giving your resources to somebody, they'll die is not sufficient in determining that you'd have an obligation to supply your resources to them. So then what obligation does a victim of grape have to supply her bodily resources to keep the fetus alive?
Well, so that like fetus that would be in the womb, that has literally done nothing. It's innocent. It doesn't have the capability of feeding itself or doing all these things. So,
wait, I have a question. Are rocks innocent?
Pardon?
Are rocks innocent?
Rocks?
Like literal rocks on the ground. Is this mouse innocent?
No.
Why is this mouse not innocent?
Because it's not a living human being made in the image of God.
Oh, okay. So are bacteria cells innocent?
No. Yes. No. I don't understand.
So the qualifications for being innocent are being a living human being made in the image of God. So you think it's innocent because of its species classification?
Well, no. Well, not exactly, right? Because like you can be made in the image of God and still not be innocent, right? Like you can have a murderer, even though they're
okay. Like, so you're saying that it's innocent because it's a living thing that has done no wrong?
I'm saying like it's innocent in the fact like if like you have like a fetus that is like obviously it needs the mother to stay alive, right? I'd say like if you have a case like that, we should in our best abilities try to preserve all life.
Oh, okay. So you're not giving me an explanation why you think it's innocent. So once again, we go back to the original question: why does that mother have an obligation to sustain the life of that fetus?
I would say because the fetus is made in the image of God.
Oh, okay. So in other words, you're basically just telling us that the fetus is made in the image of God, so we got to keep it alive. Wait, wouldn't the person be breaking into your house and stealing half of your food also be made in the image of God? But you didn't have an obligation to keep them alive.
Well, I would say that there's like there's the fact that like we're human beings, and I would say that we have like a moral obligation to take care of one another,
But
right?
you didn't say a legal obligation.
I mean,
you said that you should be legally allowed to lock your front door at night, even if it results in their death via starvation. Like, even though they're made in the image of God.
It's an interesting like correlation because like I think like in terms of like locking your door from like a person that's starving outside, that's like you don't even know the situation that they're in, is like different from like a fetus being in the womb.
Bruh, you're LARPing. Like, you're LARPing.
How would killing?
One second, you're LARPing. Why do you have a TikTok of like some pro-choice person reposted?
I'd say I'm pretty educated on the issue, so I like look at both sides of it. Pro-choice?
Yeah, somebody that it's just literally a post about them being pro-choice, and an argument insofar as why abortion should be legal.
It could have been a misclick or something, but
okay,
that's not.
All right, whatever. I believe that you're pro-life. Yes, like once again, I mean, I think that I've made my argument clear. You said that for like whatever trivial reason, victims of grape have an obligation to maintain the life of the fetus growing inside of the uterus. I pressed you for why. We reduced it down to them being like a human being made in the image of God. Well, then I gave you the hypothetical of would you have a legal obligation to keep your front door unlocked, given that somebody came into your house every night because the front door is unlocked and stole half your food for 9 months? Even if this were to, Purdy, thank you for the under controls. Thank you so much. Even if this were to put your life on the line, potentially kill you and starve you over the course of the next 9 months, you said, no, I would not have a legal obligation to do that. I should be able to. 1 second. Purdy, thank you so much for all the gifts. You're awesome. 1 second. I'm so sorry. Purdy with the Leon the Kitten. Purdy with the meteor shower. Purdy with the flying jets. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Give me a second. Everybody show some love to Purdy down below in that comment section right now. That is so incredibly kind of you. It is so good to have you in here with us for the day, Purdy. You are awesome. Everybody watching, show some love to Purdy down below in that chat. And once again, thank you so very, very much. Show some love to Purdy down below. I'm just going to start from the top because I just had to thank Purdy real quick. So once again, here's where we're at. I asked you why a pregnant victim of grape has an obligation to provide her bodily resources to the fetus. And you said because that fetus was a human made in the image of God. But then I gave you a hypothetical where somebody's breaking into your house at night and stealing half of your food, and they're going to do this for the next 9 months. And if they do this for the next 9 months, you're going to be physically harmed, and there's around a 5% chance that you're going to die. I then asked you if you should be legally obligated to keep that front door unlocked at night if locking it would ensure that person stealing your food would die from starvation. You responded by arguing that no, you should not be legally obligated to provide for the means of the individual stealing your food without your consent. You should be able to lock that front door at night, even if it kills them, even if they're a human that's made in the image of God. So at this point in our conversation, I failed to see the relevant distinction between that hypothetical that I gave you and the instance of a victim of rape accessing abortion. At the end of the day, she shouldn't have the obligation to sustain its life. At the end of the day, that fetus is only alive because of her bodily resources. And at the end of the day, the same way you should be able to legally lock your front door at night, she should be legally allowed to revoke consent from her bodily resources being supplied to the fetus, even if it means a fetus dies.
So let's say this, right? So like you're implying in this hypothetical situation where like harm is done to me, I could die from him stealing half the resources, right?
Yeah, I'm just implying this obligation that there's like no, I'm implying in this hypothetical that there's no obligation. That's a morally relevant factor of why it'd be okay for the victim of rape to get an abortion.
Like let's say there was like a victim of rape, right? Like this horrible thing has happened to them, right? If there was like a definitive factor that this person would not die from a result of like giving birth to the child, and this person would not suffer any sort of like emotional distress or harm mentally, do you think like that would change the factor at all? Like,
no, because I just told you the only thing that's relevant morally speaking to why it's okay for the great victim to access abortion is that she has no obligation to sustain the life of the fetus.
Well, I would say the obligation would be like that, like God commands us not to kill things in his image, right? So you'd be doing that when...
So this goes back to God. Okay, sounds good.
Well,
what kind of Christian are you? What denomination?
I would say I'd probably align with Baptist beliefs, but I would probably lean towards like non-denominational.
I mean, Baptist is non-denominational. Basically, Baptist just highlights a personal relationship with Jesus. That's what it means to be non-denominational.
Well, not entirely, right? Because like Baptist would also like baptism being personal decision, right? There's a couple other things, but you can say that.
Well, I mean, like the scripture tells you that baptism is a personal decision. That's that would be in alignment with a belief of somebody that is non-denominational.
Depends how you read it, right? Some people think baptism saves you. Some people think it's like it's like a personal decision. Some people think you should baptize infants, right? It's like
Okay, so that's a fair point. I guess it would be based upon your interpretation. Good point. That's fair. Okay, so let me ask you. So are you basically saying that abortion should be illegal because it's a sin?
I'm saying that like we're called in Genesis, we're called not to murder anyone made in God's image, so it would be wrong for...
Yeah, so you're saying it should be illegal because it's a sin.
It should be illegal because it's a sin. God told us not to, so like I think that we should follow what...
You're not answering my question. I don't know how to ask it simpler. Are you saying yes or no that it should be legal because it's a sin? Come on, you're smart enough to understand the question I'm asking you. I know you are.
Sure, we'll go with it. Sure, yeah.
Okay. Well, it's also a sin to lie. Should it be illegal for me to lie to my children and tell them that Santa Claus exists?
So let's say like I say yes or no to that question. I don't understand how that's affecting like the issue back to abortion being legal or not.
Yeah, well, it's testing if you have a coherent basis to use your religion to arbitrate and dictate a criminal justice system and impose legislation on the basis of something being a moral aggressment upon God's commandment. Because what I would say here is that there seems to be like no clearly definitive text within the scripture inside of the gospel that help us understand how some sins are worse than others. Sometimes we could point at like Mosaic law in the Old Commandment. However, we know that was fulfilled. And then when we look at the gospel, the New Testament, we learn that you can't come back from blasphemy. So it's like all sins are equal outside of blasphemy. Then I think in like Romans, we learn a little bit about how all sins fall short of the glory of God, but we don't truly come to the conclusion that any one sin is worse than any other. At least you don't have an argument from the scripture. That's why I asked you for your denomination, because sure, if you're a Catholic or Orthodox, you would because of the magisterium, but you don't. So like, once again, the base that I'm testing here is if you're telling us that it should be illegal because it's a sin and sins are wrong, wouldn't you also logically have to say that all sin should be illegal?
It varies in dependence on it, right? Because like you could say that lying is actually illegal in certain cases, right? Like if you lie under oath, like you do these things in front where you like.
Right, but I'm asking you about lying in a circumstance where it like clearly shouldn't be illegal, but like the varying circumstances are not made clear in the Bible. It just says that lying's wrong. It's a deontic truth.
Not necessarily that says lying's wrong. It's bearing false witness, right? So
bearing false witness is equivalent to lying.
No.
I'm going to equate those two things.
How is it? It's completely different from bearing false witness and lying.
What does bearing false witness mean?
Bearing false witness and lying?
Just what is bearing? Because I know lying means intentionally saying something that is false. So what does bearing false witness mean?
So like when like bearing witness, you're speaking like truthfully of what you've seen. And that would be like in regards to like a legal matter, right? But like the definition of like lying would be saying something that's untrue or like deliberately like misleading others.
So you think that bearing false witness means what?
It's like saying something that is essentially like for instance, like if I were to like say sarcastically like I was hosting like a birthday party for my friend. He came up and he says, "Oh, what are you doing?" I don't want
an example. I want a definition.
Okay, like bearing false witness and saying something sarcastically are two different things.
Oh, okay, but you're still not answering my question. What does bearing false witness mean?
It would fall into like a category of lying.
Okay, so what does it mean?
To
not,
bear
not,
false.
not category. Not what category would it fall under? What does it mean?
I would say it would be like to say something that is untrue, deceptive, or like misleading.
Okay, so you just said that to bearing false witness means something that is untrue. We're gonna write this down. So
sure.
Bearing false witness to say something untrue. Now redefine lying.
Like it could fall into the category of like bearing false witness.
That's not what I asked you. I asked you to define it. Define lying.
Define lying. It's just like I would say it's like saying like a statement that is like false.
Okay. Before I dunk on you, do you just want to concede? No. Okay. Well, you told me that there's a difference between bearing false witness and lying. Well, you just defined bearing false witness as saying something untrue, and then you define lying as saying a statement that is false. So what is the difference between saying something that is untrue and saying something that is false?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like, again, if you would let me use my example so that you can like comprehend that, it's like if I was hosting a surprise birthday party for my friend, he came up and said, "Yo, what are you doing later tonight?" And I was hosting that surprise birthday party. And I said, "Oh, I'm just going to go out and like go grocery shopping," when in reality, I'm actually throwing a surprise birthday party. That would be a lie. However, that would not be necessarily fall into the category of like bearing false witness.
In accordance with your definition, it would. You define bearing false witness as saying something that's untrue. If you tell your friend that you're going to the grocery store and you're not going to the grocery store, you would be given a proposition which is false, meaning that in accordance with your definition of bearing false witness, that would be bearing false witness.
Yes. Well, bearing false witness also is the intention, right? So the intentionality of the bearing of the false witness, right?
So like for instance, so now you're I just want to make it clear. Now you're revising your definition, which is fine. I just wanted to be clear. To say something that is
like intentionally something you know is false for the wrong or malicious reasons, essentially, right?
Intentionally untrue for wrong or malicious reasons.
Yeah, sure. We can throw that in there. It's like I would say it depends on.
So I wouldn't say that that's going to be like considered under like a conventional assumption of bearing false witness. You know, like I could bear false witness to like my friend, and so imagine this. Imagine that I have a friend, and I know that this friend's girlfriend cheated on him. If he asked me, "Dean, has my girlfriend ever cheated on me?" and I said no, would I be bearing false witness even if I didn't have an intention of malice, but I rather just didn't want him to spiral?
I mean, we can continue doing this, but I feel like we kind of got derailed from the conversation.
No, we're not derailed from the conversation at all. Answer my question.
Okay, what was the question again?
Great. Right. So if I have a friend and I know his girlfriend's cheating on him, and he comes up to me and asks me, "Hey, Dean, is my girlfriend cheating on me?" And then I say no, not with an intention of malice, but with an intention of like, wanting him to be happy and thrive and to not spiral. would I be bearing false witness even though I didn't possess an intention of malice?
Mm-hmm. All right. So I would say I just looked it up. I just Googled it right here because I'm not the dictionary. So like the bearing false witness that I think would make sense would be lying specifically about another person, often in a legal or public context with potential harm to them. And it always involves a third party where lying would not do that. So I would like kind of resort to that thing.
Okay,
So I would say that would
so
be
now
bearing
you're just
false witness.
completely changing your definition. Now you're
Sure.
saying
Well,
that
my original point
now
was
you're saying that
there's
bearing
two
false
of them,
witness
right?
is lying about a person.
Well, specifically about another person, it involves a third
About
party, right? And then you're doing harm to someone else through the deception.
Person. So let's be clear. Bearing false witness is lying about another person, right?
Yeah, it involves another third party, sure.
Involves a third party. Okay, well, I mean, so now you've revised your definition to lying about another person involves a third party. I think that the statement involves a third party would be redundant because another person would imply a third party. So at its core, you're defining bearing false witness as lying about another person?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Because like my main point is that like that lying and bearing false witness are two different things, right?
Okay.
So we're called not to bear false witness, and we're also called not to lie, but
because
not
we're not over that yet. So now
Sure.
now we've gotten to the point where bearing false witness is lying about another person, and lying is saying a statement that is false.
Sure, like broadly speaking, sure.
Okay, so let's get this clear. If somebody walks up to me, let's get this clear. I'm gonna ask a better question. If my wife walks up to me and my wife asks me, Dean, how much money do we have? Do we have enough money to cover the bills? And we don't. I spent it all on a speedboat. But I tell her we do. I tell her that we have $100,000 in our bank account. Would I be bearing false witness to her? Because under your definition of bearing false witness, which is lying about another person, I wouldn't. Because I'm not lying about another person. I'm lying about the ones and zeros in my bank account.
Well, you have to understand it's like the focus of like bearing false witness is like it's doing harm to somebody else, right?
Oh, well,
so
now we're changing our definition. No. I asked you what the definition of bearing false witness was. We worked you down to lying about another person. Nowhere in that does that imply harm because the definition of lying is just simply saying that a statement is false. And that was your definition of lying that we got from earlier. So now you're revising it for the billionth fucking time. Okay, give me your final fucking definition of bearing false witness. Yes, you are. Let me explain to you exactly how you are. Now you're implying some intentionality of causing harm somewhere within your definitions of bearing false witness or for lying. That is not true. I've written down your revised definitions of both bearing false witness and lying, and here's what I have. You define bearing false witness as lying about another person, and then you define lying as saying a statement that is false. If we replace the term lying in the definition of bearing false witness with its definition, you're your fully arbitrated definition of bearing false witness would be saying a statement that is false about another person. Nowhere in your definition, saying a statement that is false about another person does it imply some intention of malice or harm, right? So now if you're saying that it would include an intention of malice or harm, now we just have to further revise our definitions. So for God, for the last time, glory Lord, define bearing false witness.
All right, like I'll concede the argument to you, and we can go with. I can agree that you like lying would. You can equate it to bearing false witness. We can just move on to the actual topic of abortion.
So now that we've agreed that bearing false witness and lying mean the same thing, and that you agree that we should be able to criminalize sins in accordance with the Christian faith, and we have no clear way insofar as how to determine if one sin is any worse than any other. In fact, the most knowledge that we have is that they're probably viewed identically in the eyes of God outside of blasphemy in accordance with Romans. If you're saying that abortion should be illegal because it's a sin, would you also say that lying to your child and telling them that Santa Claus exists is real should be legal because it's a sin?
I don't think that you should lie, but like I don't think that it should necessarily be illegal to lie.
So if the sin of abortion should be legal, why shouldn't the sin of lying?
Because we're directly called to in Genesis not to murder human beings that are made in God's image.
Just like you're directly called in Exodus to not bear false witness.
We're not upheld to Exodus.
You're not upheld by the Ten Commandments?
No, we are, yes.
The Ten
But
Commandments are in Exodus.
yes, but you also have to remember the commandments were made for like the good of the people, right? Like the law was, the commandments were made for us, right? We weren't made for the commandments. So like kind of like the Sabbath, like if it was hindering you from like helping somebody, then obviously you can break the Sabbath, right? So like in certain circumstances, I'd say it would be okay to lie.
Wait, you think that you can morally break the Ten Commandments? What is the theological argument for that?
When Jesus was going out in like the fields and his disciples were picking the part of like the crop, and then the Pharisees were like, "Why are you picking the crop? You're breaking the Sabbath." And then Jesus is like, "Yo, it's okay because they're just feeding themselves." That's what I would push on to.
Wait, I'm so sorry. Is the statement you can't break the Sabbath one of the Ten Commandments? Or is that Levitical law that was fulfilled by Jesus' coming?
It wasn't fulfilled at that moment, right?
Yeah.
Until Jesus.
Whoa. So did Jesus fulfill the Old Covenant?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jesus fulfilled the Old Covenant how?
By his death and resurrection.
So then why did he talk about fulfilling the Old Covenant before he died?
Because he came to do that. Like that was his mission, like when he came.
No, he said, "I've fulfilled the Old Covenant."
Yes. What verse are you looking at here?
Yes. In Matthew 5:17 through 20, Jesus clarifies his relationship to the Mosaic Law and the prophets, stating that he did not come to abolish them, but came to fulfill them.
Yes. Like, has that fulfillment happened at that moment? No. It's when he died and rose again. It's pretty common.
Wait. So you're telling me that Jesus directed some people to do something that was wrong?
In what way?
You told me that he told people to break the Sabbath when Levitical law was still in effect.
Oh my God, that's the whole point, Dean. You don't understand. Is that
so then Jesus contradicted? God's commandment?
Dean, listen. Literally, Jesus said the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath, right? So in terms of Jesus saying this, he's saying like you're allowed to, if you're gonna die or you need to eat, it's allowed, right? And it was permitted to like pick the crops, like to eat like the grains or whatever, right? But the Pharisees thought like, oh, you couldn't do anything on this, you couldn't do any work, right? But Jesus is saying, no, this is permitted. I permit this because he's the one who implemented the Sabbath, right? He's saying that it wasn't made the way that you thought it was made for. So they were not breaking the Sabbath. Jesus was clarifying what the Sabbath meant in that time, right?
Okay.
Because like whatever laws.
So basically, what you're telling me is that predicated. Wait. So would you tell me that there's a possible interpretation of the Ten Commandments that would prelude to thinking that it is moral to kill people? Because you're basically saying that they're not going to be like deontic truths. That there's like some sense in which it is not wrong to break the Ten Commandments. If there's some sense in which it is not wrong to break the Ten Commandments, well then can I just use a similar argument as it would relate to abortion? In the same way you're saying, even though it is a lie to tell your children that Santa Claus exists, for whatever reason, you just don't think it's wrong, even though you acknowledge it breaks the Ten Commandments. Can I just say, even if I acknowledge that abortion breaks the Ten Commandments, it's not wrong for miscellaneous reasons?
No. Because, like, for instance...
Wait. So then if you're telling me that I can't have miscellaneous reasons to justify breaking the Ten Commandments, neither can you.
Well, no, because listen, like, you're not allowed to kill, right? But
why? What's your argument that I'm not allowed to kill? Because remember, it can't just simply be the Ten Commandments, because you're saying that the Ten Commandments can be overruled. So what are the overruling moral facts that would prelude to the conclusion that you are not allowed to kill? Because the Ten Commandments in of themselves is insufficient, as demonstrated via the example when you told me that you are allowed to lie, even though the Ten Commandments says you aren't.
All right, so I can point to verses like outside of the Ten Commandments. I would say it would be immoral to kill somebody made in the image of God. But however, if we're looking at the Ten Commandments, I never said like we can go around the Ten Commandments or like break the Ten Commandments. Jesus
yes, you did. You literally said that we can break the Ten Commandments.
I never. So no. So in the time of the Pharisees, what they thought the Sabbath was, it was not correct. So up to the Pharisees and to the people, they were breaking the Sabbath, but Jesus clarified it, right?
Okay, so now you're repeating that we can't break the Ten Commandments. So now you're saying that you've clarified that we can't break the Ten Commandments.
Breaking the Ten Commandments in the first place. They were never breaking them. That's the whole point. Dude.
Okay. Is breaking the Ten Commandments always wrong?
Is breaking the Ten Commandments always wrong?
Yes.
Sure.
Is bearing false witness breaking the Ten Commandments?
Yes, but it's not.
Is lying equivalent to bearing false witness?
Like yes and no. Like it really depends.
There's not a yes or no. What do you mean? It doesn't depend. Now we're going to go back into the definitions of what bearing false witness and lying are, and I'm going to dog walk you again. So is lying equivalent to breaking the Ten Commandments?
Is lying equivalent to breaking the Ten Commandments? We're called not to lie.
That didn't answer my question.
What's the question?
Is lying equivalent to is lying equivalent to bearing false witness?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
So if it's always wrong to break the Ten Commandments, and bearing false witness breaks the Ten Commandments, and lying is equivalent to bearing false witness, then it's always wrong to lie.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And when we say it's wrong to lie, in accordance with the Christian doctrine, we're saying that lying is a sin.
Yes.
So now we've come to the conclusion that lying is always a sin. And if lying is always a sin, and you think that we should criminalize sins, then it would entail that we should criminalize telling your children that Santa Claus exists, because that's a lie, and lying is always wrong, meaning lying is always a sin.
Yeah, but I don't think that like we should be criminalizing every single sin.
Okay, so then how do we determine which sins we do and which sins we don't? What standard of your Bible do you have to determine that the sin of abortion is any worse than the sin of lying?
I would say that like the punishments of like murder, the punishments of lying are two different things, right?
Wait, according to what gospel verse?
I would say like I would refer to like Genesis.
Genesis is not a part of the gospel. The gospel is Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Oh, okay. So you're going with you're asking what verse in the gospel says that murder is. What's the question?
Give me an argument from the Bible to conclude that the sin of abortion is worse than the sin of lying, without referencing Mosaic law or Levitical law, as you are the one who has proclaimed that Mosaic and Levitical law were fulfilled by Jesus' second coming, death, and resurrection.
Well, you have to understand like the Genesis law, like the rules are given in Genesis, not necessarily like in like fulfilled, but like we're told in Matthew, we're told not to murder.
Okay.
And they will be liable to judgment.
Wait, just saying that murder is a sin, and if you murder, you will be judged, is not saying that the sin of murder is worse than the sin of lying.
Well, I don't see any verse in the Bible where it's in the gospel verses which show me the gospel verse where it says those who lie will be liable to judgment.
I don't need to show you a gospel verse that says that, because I just need to show you the Ten Commandments, because you told me you uphold the Ten Commandments.
Yeah, well, 9 of the 10, yes. Yes, so like, are you going to show me the verse where it says that someone whose lying is liable to judgment, compared to where, like in Matthew 5:21?
Wait, you logically have to accept this, because if you want to entertain the thought that those that lie are not liable to judgment, well, then you're telling me that some sins go unjudged by God.
It depends your state, right? So if you're in a fallen state or a saved state. But can we get back onto abortion though?
No, because this is super relevant. Because now we've demonstrated to you that you have no coherent basis to criminalize access to abortion without criminalizing lying. And now you're telling me, oh wait, I have a question. So do you think if somebody sins, they're always going to be judged for that sin if they don't repent?
If they don't repent, will someone be judged for their sins?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, including the sin of lying?
Yes.
So if you commit the sin of lying, you will be judged, else repent?
Yes, you'll be judged.
Okay, so you just accepted the same basis that you used to argue that murder was worse than lying. However, we've now concluded that if you lie, you will also be judged unless you repent.
Yeah, so you have your eternal judgment, right? You'll get judged eternally. But some things that you do on this earth, you get judged like physically, right? So like if you say like a lie,
Wait, what do you mean judged physically? Judged by whom?
Like your time on earth by government.
By the government?
Yes, by government.
Okay, so where in the Bible does it say that God thinks you should be judged by your government for murder, but not judged by your government from lying?
No Bible verse would say like have the thing of lying.
Okay, so then you're basically giving me an argument that exists outside of your Bible, so you're changing the word of your God in order to make an argument that women shouldn't be able to access healthcare. That's the reduction.
Well, no.
Is that you're literally changing the words of your God in order to argue that women shouldn't be able to access healthcare.
No, I'm not changing anything. The word of God.
Okay. Well, then you have no base from the Bible to argue that we should be judged for murder on earth by our government, but we shouldn't be judged for lying on earth by our government. So therefore, your argument is baseless.
We're called not to murder anyone made in the image of God.
Just like we're called not to lie, dude. You're acting stupid as fuck at this point. I thought we've already been over this.
Hey, listen. I think that we are called not to lie, and it is a commandment not to lie, right? In certain circumstances, though, it would be punishable by government enforcing, like if you did a lie, right? So, like, yes, you can get punished for lying.
We're not talking about what is. We're talking about what ought, right? And would ought be the case in accordance with your worldviews that sins should be illegal, and that would be the basis for your claim that abortion should be illegal, as you've already affirmed. And if the basis for your claim is that sin should be illegal, well, then you have no reason to argue that lying to your child, telling them that Santa Claus exists, shouldn't be legal, as lying is a sin.
Well, I think that it's in a like okay. Let me like kind of like re-explain, right? It's not necessarily that like every sin needs to be made illegal. Obviously, that's
so
not
then why
possible.
should abortion be illegal?
Of course. So I'd say abortion should be made illegal because it will like I think that we should do in our best ability to prevent these things from happening, right? And I would say the best way in our ability to stop these things from happening would to be like making it illegal, right?
Okay, why should we do what's in our best ability to prevent abortion from happening?
Because again, it's taking of a human life.
Okay.
Right?
And why should we do the best in our ability to stop the taking of human life?
Because like it's killing somebody. Like that's
and why should we do in the best of our ability to prevent killing? The answer is that it's wrong. And your explanation insofar as why it's wrong is that it's a sin. So we just go right back to what I said. You think that abortion should be illegal because it's a sin. You're just finding different words to reason that conclusion. This is what sophistry is. So if you're curious on what sophistry is, if you're watching, this is what sophistry is. His statement that we should criminalize abortion because it prevents the deaths of humans, and we need to do what is in the best of our abilities to prevent the deaths of humans because the deaths of humans is wrong, because wrongness is derivative of sin, is the same as saying that we need to criminalize abortion because it's a sin. He just wants to add on a bunch of extra words, so my argument isn't clear. But even in the argument he's giving, it is still true that he thinks we should ban abortion because it's a sin. He just adds on, we should ban abortion because it's killing people, and killing people's wrong, and it's wrong because it's a sin. He's just adding extra steps to attempt to confuse me, but it's not working. So now that we know that the reduction of your view is that we should criminalize abortion because it's a sin, now you actually have a contradiction. Because 3 minutes ago you told us we shouldn't necessarily ban sins. So if we shouldn't necessarily ban sins, then you arguing that it's entailed that because abortion's a sin it should be banned, you have a contradiction, as that wouldn't actually be entailed.
So we don't have to, obviously not all sins can be legislated, where I would say abortion would be legislated. Now let me ask you something though, Dean, right? If you have a person who wants to continuously just get abortions, do you think that should be allowed? Like that's their driven passion in life is to get as many abortions as they can. Like should that be allowed? Yes or no?
We're not going to pivot.
Because in your argument you would have to say, yeah, that's fine because there's nothing immoral about having an abortion.
Yeah, the answer to the question would obviously be yes, right? That should be legally allowed. But we're not going to pivot because we're still not done with the topic of you attempting to convince me that you somehow have a coherent argument that lying should be legal in some circumstances. Meanwhile, abortion should be illegal. I just gave you a perfect description on how you ultimately think that abortion should be illegal because it's a sin. And if we should criminalize things that are sin, why would you argue that we shouldn't criminalize some forms of lying?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you look at like lying, it's like legally speaking, you can't implement like not lying because the Constitution, the freedom of speech, right? So we have freedom of speech, so you
We're
can't
talking
really.
about what should. We're talking about what should, not what it is. The Constitution doesn't tell us what we should do. No, 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 no. You're now doing an appeal to legality. You're attempting to use legal facts to argue what should be the case. Never use legal facts to argue what should be the case.
All right, so I would say that there is killing someone and lying are completely different things, where what one has more severity over the other, right?
Now give me an argument from the scripture.
Where just give me a moment, then I would have to.
It doesn't exist. Like I'm telling you, this is a catch-22 for Christians that are not Orthodox or Catholic. Like this catch-22 was thought through a very long time ago by early church fathers that created the magisterium, created the normative authority of the church, and created the Catholic religion, right? But my homie down here, he's not Catholic. He doesn't have a distinction for the wrongness of most sins.
So, like, I mean, if you would just go to Genesis, where you see that, Cain killed Abel, he killed somebody, and then God punished him for that thing, right? There's no act of God punishing someone for saying like a simple like lie, right? In certain terms, actually, a lie is justified, and then if the lie is justified, then you don't necessarily.
Oh, wait, now you're contradicting what you said earlier. Earlier, you said lies can't be justified because all lies are sins. Are sins justified? Are you the devil?
I would say, well, listen, my point would, I would say like lying wouldn't always be a sin. But
wait. So then breaking the 10 Commandments isn't always wrong.
Breaking the 10 Commandments is always sin. We're called not to bear false witness again.
Wait. If breaking the 10 Commandments is always a sin, then lying is always a sin, since lying is one of the 10 Commandments.
No, bearing false witness, not lying.
Oh, so so define bearing false witness and define lying. You want to do the circle again? I'll do it all day. I got time. This is where you concede. I don't know what to tell you. This is seriously where you concede, and then you start the existential crisis because you realize that there's literally no way to effectively and logically apply your religion to a criminal justice system. I'm not fucking tired. Let me make it clear. I do this every day for 4 hours. I could keep on going. I'm not fucking tired. No. I'm still drilling in on this shit. So now we're back to you arguing that lying is not equivalent to bearing false witness. Okay, define lying and define bearing false witness.
All right, Dean. Let's play into your argument here. Let's say we should make lying illegal. Make lying illegal, right? Make abortion illegal. Make all sins illegal, right? The whole point of the law was to show that we cannot uphold the law, right? And that's why we need Jesus. We need God for that, right? That's the reason it was given to us, right? So, like, in terms of like things, whether they're illegal or not, the whole point was that, we as human beings are fallen and we should do our best to uphold all the laws to the best of our ability, right? Now, in terms of like murder and lying, like murder is having it's having an impact on another innocent human being made in God's image, right? Where like lying can be severe, but it can also be like not severe at the same time.
So you're just saying that the sin of murder is more harmful than the sin of lying. You have no argument for that rooted inside of your scripture.
Well, what do you mean? Like literally you see God punishing Cain and saying that like that you will die, and he casted him out for murdering, right?
So are you arguing if we don't see God do something, then he wouldn't do it?
No.
Oh, okay. So then your argument's invalid off rip.
Dean, you got to get back onto why abortion's ethical.
Come on, bro. Come on, dude. No, or not, right? Because this is a conversation about pro-life versus pro-choice. Ban abortion versus not ban abortion. You're arguing that we should ban abortion, and I'm showing you how you have no argument that we should criminalize abortion in relation to the Christian religion unless you accept about 1,000,000,001 absurdities, such as the idea that we should also ban telling your children that Santa Claus exists.
Do you think abortion's a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, you forgot the third category, which would be moral permissibility. But I'm not going to entertain the pivot, kid. We're not done investigating your view, my friend. Remember, the view that we're investigating is if we can criminalize something because it's a sin.
We're not criminalizing lying. We're not doing that.
Okay.
But we can't.
So then, wait. So if you could say that we shouldn't criminalize lying, even if it violates God's moral commandment, then I can say we shouldn't criminalize abortion, even if it violates God's moral commandment. You have no argument against that. You're about to start pulling out Genesis where it says that murder's wrong. Guess what? Exodus says lying's wrong. Yeah, come on. Give me a refutation of my position. We should not criminalize abortion even though it ingresses upon God's moral law. What is the counter argument?
Just because it's a sin doesn't mean it needs to be criminalized.
You're
right?
not. Oh, exactly. You're now actually just giving me more reason. We shouldn't criminalize abortion, even though it's an ingressment upon morals, upon God's moral law. Because just because it's a sin doesn't mean it should be criminalized. Refute my argument.
I agree in the terms of you should not criminalize every single sin. Now, the reason that we're criminalizing abortion is because you're killing another human being made in the image of God, right?
Okay. So now you're just trying to communicate to me either the reasons why it's a sin or why it's wrong. But guess what? I already said it was a sin, meaning I know it's wrong, and you're now just simply describing why it's wrong and why it's a sin. That's not actually combating my argument. Right? Because in the same way, you're attempting to respond to my position that we shouldn't criminalize abortion even though it's a sin by describing why it's a sin. Well, if you were to say that we shouldn't ban lying even though it's a sin, well, I'll just describe why it's a sin too. You're bearing false witness and that violates the 10 Commandments. So you offered me a description on why abortion's a sin. I offered you a description on why lying is a sin, but you still think that lying should be legal, and I still think that abortion should be legal. Where do we go from here?
I mean, some things you'll be accountable to God, and some things you'll be accountable to the government, right? So, you're still
you
liable.
Already agreed. You already agreed that all sins will be held accountable by God, including lying and abortion.
Yeah.
So even though it's going to be held accountable by God, that doesn't change my argument that it should be legal, because you think lying should be legal, even though it's a sin that's going to be held accountable by God. Now, if you want to superimpose a view that only one of these two things should be held accountable by government, and that is a moral claim, give me the moral foundation for this claim.
For it being imposed by government?
What is the argument that some sins should be held accountable by government and others should not?
Sure. I would say it would be directly killing another innocent human being.
A description on why it's a sin. That doesn't change the fact that it's a sin and there's other sins too, like lying. I'll just say violating the 10 Commandments, bearing false witness, a description on why it's a sin.
Yeah, it's a sin, but it's not necessarily legislated by government.
Oh, well, okay. Well, just simply offering a description on why something is a sin is not enough to argue that it should be legislated on by the government. Well, you offering a description on why you think abortion is a sin is not a sufficient argument to demonstrate why it should be legislated on by the government.
Because it directly impacts another human being.
Well, that's supposed to communicate wrongness, right?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm just simply communicating wrongness when I say that lying is a sin. The fact that it's a sin communicates wrongness.
Repeat that one more time. I didn't get that.
You're saying that the sin of abortion should be legislated on by the government because it's killing another life. Well, the statement killing another life there is just communicating wrongness. So in other words, you're saying that this sin should be legislated on by the government because it causes wrongness. Okay, first and foremost, the argument is redundant. We've already agreed that it's a sin. Sins necessarily communicate wrongness. So in other words, you're saying this thing that communicates wrongness should be legislated on by the government because it communicates wrongness. And if your argument is this thing that communicates wrongness should be legislated on by the government because it communicates wrongness, would just simply apply to lying too. Lying is a thing that communicates wrongness, and it should be legislated on by the government because it communicates wrongness.
Well, the difference is that it's you're adding another human being into this, right? So another human being is
adding another human being. Are you attempting to make it wronger, worse? So now we're just getting right back to the basis where you're finding a way to approach the conversation that you think one sin is worse than another sin. Give me a theological basis for that.
Sins that kill or murder human beings should 100% be legislated, right? So would you agree with that?
This is an internal critique. My thought shouldn't matter.
So how do your thoughts not matter?
Because it's an internal critique of your worldview. Why would what I think be relevant to your worldview?
I mean, it could be, but probably.
How is my thoughts relevant to your thoughts?
Because if you explained your thoughts to me, then it could change my worldview.
Okay. Well, my thoughts that would hopefully change your worldview here is that there's just no basis to argue that some sins should be legal, meanwhile others should be illegal. We've gotten you to the basis of arguing that the sin of abortion should be illegal because it kills another life. Meanwhile, the sin of lying shouldn't be legal because it doesn't kill another life. But the statement kills another life is just trying to communicate that one is worse than the other. So at its core, you're saying that the sin of abortion should be illegal because it's worse than the sin of lying. Let me ask you the question. Do you think that the sin of abortion is worse than the sin of lying?
I would say it's more severe, yeah.
So you would say it's worse. Now give me
Yeah.
the theological grounding for the claim that the sin of abortion is worse than the sin of lying. If you failed to give me the theological foundation for the claim that the sin of abortion is worse than the sin of lying, then you're believing in something without reason.
Well, do you think that
Not
murder?
what I think. Give me the foundation.
I don't have the verses on me, Dean.
Okay, so then you have no reason for your claim. So ultimately speaking, your argument that abortion should be banned reduces down to your thoughts and feelings, not rooted inside any text or any reason in association with the Christian God, the Christian religion, your perfect moral standard, the gospel, and so on.
It's the same level as like a sin. An abortion would be on the same level in the way that it separates us from God, right? But abortion causes another human being to lose their life, right? So it's more
Why is
severe.
that relevant if it doesn't make it worse?
Well, it would make it worse. Like for instance, like if I lied, right? If I lied and I said like,
Okay, what is worse? What is bad? Where does badness come from?
what does badness come from? The heart? I don't know.
No. Like literally, like, oh my God. Okay. Why are things wrong?
Why are things wrong?
Yes.
Because it was not the intended design of that thing. I don't know.
The theological answer would be that it ingresses upon God's moral law.
Yeah, so there was like an intended purpose for this thing, and then it's no longer that intended purpose, or I don't know.
It'd just be that it ingresses upon God's moral law. So if it ingresses upon God's moral law, it's wrong. Can one thing... so now that we understand what wrongness is, just an ingression upon God's moral law, well, both of these two things ingress upon God's moral law.
Yes.
Right?
So
if you want to argue that one is worse than the other, well, then you'll have to be able to give me an argument in accordance with God's moral law to demonstrate that. Where do we find God's moral law? The Bible. Can you give me an argument from the Bible to demonstrate that the sin of abortion is worse than the sin of lying?
Sure. So you're saying that all sin is equal, correct?
I'm saying that there's no clear foundation inside of the Bible to argue that one sin is any worse than any other.
So if I lied though, right? Let's say I lied about something to my buddy or whatever, and then minimal, I was just a joke, right? It's like, oh, you're ugly, right? I did that, and I compare it to like I lied about like I'm gonna go do this thing, I'm gonna go hurt this person, right? And like I'm lying about, and I'm scaring other people, right? One, I would say a lie would be like more severe than the other lie, right? So like you have to look at like each of them.
Wait, according to what foundation? To you or God? Is it worse to you or is it worse to God?
So it would be worse in the
No. Answer my question. Is it worse to you or is it worse to God?
It's neither one though. It's neither one.
Okay,
like
wait. So you just affirmed that it's not worse to God, right?
Well, both of them, it both separates, right?
Is it worse to God or is it not worse to God? I'm done with your fucking pedantic sophist bullshit. Answer the goddamn question. Is it worse to God or is it not worse to God?
It's both. It's both. It separates us from God.
Wait. It's both worse and not worse to God simultaneously?
It's worse as in terms of like it separates, each sin separates us from God, right? However, it would be worse. Like there are abominations to God. It's like on a hierarchy of different sins, right?
Okay, so, wait. Where do we find a hierarchy of sins insofar as their level of wrongness / severity rooted inside of gospel?
Abominations to the Lord. Let me see.
Jesus Christ. Yo, Paul, appreciate you so much for the $20 over on PayPal. Paul says this guy is like, logic is subjective. I only want some logic that makes sense. Yeah. Paul with another $20 saying, why does all of MAGA sell one brain shell? Yeah, thank you for the $40, Paul. And then Laura with the $25, Autumn with the 10. Thank you guys so much. If you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio. Erica with the $2 over on Venmo. The Nancy with the $25 on Venmo saying atheists/agnostics always know more about the Bible than people who identify as Christian. Quite frequently they can. As well as Wesley 45 minutes ago with the $20. Actually $40. Thank you, Wesley. As well as I read your message there. I'm gonna check out Mr. Global. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the $40, Wesley. So do you have an argument that there's a hierarchy of the wrongness of sins in accordance with the Christian theology?
All right, okay. So let's say we'll concede. I don't necessarily have an argument, okay?
You don't? So you just conceded the whole entire pro-life view?
No. Because why would you? Okay, do you think that murder's okay, Dean? Do you think that murder's okay?
Dava, thank you so much for the $5 over on PayPal. Remember, this is an internal critique of your view, but no, I don't think murder's okay.
Really? Why?
Why? So now you're going to start investigating me and why I think things are wrong?
Exactly, Dean. Exactly.
Because of rights violations. I think, well, murder descriptively is not okay because it's defined as unjust.
Of course, right? So like you would say that murder is wrong though, right? So then why would you think that a fetus is not worthy of that protection that is like, a rights violation?
Because I think that something else rather than the life of the fetus grants the right to life. I don't understand why that's relevant to the investigation of your view, because if you're conceding the totality of your argument, you're no longer pro-life. I just got you to concede the pro-life view.
Nah, Dean.
Yes, you conceded it. You said, Dean, I concede. So when you said, Dean, I concede, did you mean to concede? When you said, Dean, I concede, did you actually concede? Or when you said, Dean, I concede, did you commit the sin of lying that should be illegal in accordance with your logic? Did you just do something just as wrong as an abortion?
I conceded the fact that there's I don't have on deck a hierarchy of sins that I can give you at this current moment.
Okay.
Right?
Well, I mean, so if you don't have a description insofar as why you think some sins are worse than the others, meaning that this belief is not rooted within your Bible, then why are you belligerently applying this false belief rooted in the text of your Bible to control what other people can and can't do with their bodies?
I would say consciously it's wrong to murder. You don't even necessarily I know that it's
now we're just going back to it's wrong for the 15th fucking time. So is lying, sin in the Bible. You don't have an okay, listen. You just conceded that you cannot articulate to me any basis founded within the text of the Bible that one sin is worse than any other. What does this mean? All sins are just as wrong as one another. You're communicating to me that abortion should be illegal because it's a sin that's wrong, and if it's just as wrong, identically as wrong as the sin of lying, who are you to fucking say that lying shouldn't be illegal?
All right, so let me clarify then. So not all sins are the same. Now I know you're gonna tell me to get the verse, right?
Then give me the basis inside of your theology.
So all sins are equal in the sense that they separate you from God, right? However, all sins have a different impact.
Nice claim. Give an argument.
All right, I don't know, Dean. I don't know.
So you don't have a basis for the argument.
Dean, I don't do this 4 hours a day, Dean.
Wait. So if the end of the conversation reduces down to the idea that you have no logical basis for your claim that abortion should be illegal, then even though you think I have no logical basis for my claim that abortion should be legal, you can't critique that shit. So there we go. My argument for you is that abortion should be legal because I think it. I just think so. I have no logical basis, and you have no refutation to that argument. Literally, a pro-choicer saying that they think abortion should be legal for no reason is just as logically coherent as your position insofar as why you think it should be illegal. And if there is no logical difference between your belief that it should be illegal and my belief that it should be legal, maybe you should go back down to the drawing board and find a logical basis for your claim before you use your claim to infringe upon people's access to healthcare. Or, if you'd posit, well, Dean, I'm going to continue to be pro-life, even though I have no logical basis for the claim. Dean, I'm going to continue to advocate for infringing upon people's access to particular buildings, even though I have no logical basis to my claim. You can't tell a white supremacist that supports racial segregation that they're in the wrong, because they're doing the same thing you are. I'm going to take rights away from black people, even though I have no logical basis for my claim. Is logically speaking the same, saying I want to take rights away from women, even though I have no logical basis for my claim. And that's where we're at.
Yeah, I think I'll definitely like do more research into it to like get back at you. So if you want to have me on another time, I'm down to come on again. But at this current moment, I don't have.
Based. Okay. Into conversation. Sorry I didn't kick him earlier, chat. I truly think that is I just think that's an argument that can't be beat. So even though he was a sophist and we went back and forth on like one thing for 50 minutes, the reason why I didn't give it up, and maybe I should have, maybe I should have. The reason why I didn't give it up is because it's just an argument that can't be beat. There's no way to explain from the Christian worldview, unless you endorse like the Catholic Church or the Orthodox Church, that some sins should be legal and other sins should not be legal. It is overlooked by everyone all the time, and it's ridiculous. It is literally just as like an incoherent of a belief as flat Earth. It's just not talked about as much. And it's funny because I'm like one of the only people that runs that argument. Like you would assume that like people would talk about this. You'd assume that there's like very common counter arguments that like everybody knows, right? About how, oh, you're a Christian and you think that abortion should be illegal? Oh, well, you don't think that all sin should be illegal, so you're wrong. Nobody does that. Nobody talks about it, even though it is the best argument against pro-life Christians. Mackenzie, thank you for the $5 over at Vim. I appreciate you. Crystal with a $1, then Jessica with a 5, saying that this man needs to either reread the Bible or identify with another religion. That's what I did as a former Catholic who's pro-choice. Yep. Erica with the $2, thank you so much. Then Charles with a 1. Thank you guys so much for all of the love. You guys have been so great today. Then Paul, thank you for another $15 over on PayPal. Thank you, man. And Tava with the 5, as well as Libra with the $10 on Super Chat, saying that abortion is not a sin. A fetus is not considered a living being until its first breath, as per the Bible. Psalms and Jeremiah are about divine foreknowledge. The Bible's not pro-life. So that's actually the other side of the coin. There's also very convincing arguments that the Bible just simply isn't pro-life. Some of these arguments can be rooted within, what that donation just shared, but also within personhood as described throughout Levitical law and how we see that fetuses are like assigned property rights in the Old Testament. Okay, everybody, it is now 6 p.m. I have a bachelor's/bachelorette party to go to. Pretty exhausting day today. Maybe before we leave, we'll let this do it up. I saw the cross in your name. I guess I'm gonna assume that you want to add on to what the last guest said there.
Yeah. So you keep asking us how old
are you?
I'm 19.
Okay. All right. And do you think that you could clearly determine that one sin is worse than another sin?
No. You ask how we still support Trump. How do you still support Kamala? What has she done?
This guy just... See, I thought because of the cross in his name, he was coming in off of that last conversation. My bad. So why did I support Kamala Harris in the election?
Yeah.
I think my primary reason was that she wasn't a rapist with really good economic policy. Like if you were to have me reduce it down to a sentence, in a nutshell, I supported Kamala Harris over Trump because she was a rapist with better. She was not a rapist,
She's
and
a
she had
rapist?
better economic policy.
Kamala's a rapist?
No, Donald Trump is. Like that's like the reduction of my reasons, honestly.
Okay, but give me like accomplishments that Kamala has.
Kamala is how you pronounce her name. Sure. She served in all three branches of government. She served as an AG and an attorney fulfilling the judiciary branch. She served in the legislative branch as a senator, and she served in the executive branch as a VP. Can you name anybody else that's ever done that?
No, those are all like some like.
So that's like a really huge fucking accomplishment if you can't name anybody else that's ever done that.
As vice president, what did she accomplish?
Well, sure. She passed the most tie-breaking votes in the Senate compared to any VP in American history. Alongside, she worked with the Biden administration, passed some of those monumental domestic policy in modern American history, such as the PACT Act, which was a near $1 billion investment into expanding via healthcare resources, such as the infrastructure bill that was a $1 trillion investment to build new infrastructure in America to create more jobs to inspire economic growth, which pulled us out of the inflation onset by the pandemic faster than any other country in the G7. She also worked to pass the Chips and Science Bill, which invested $50 billion into the production of chips on American soil, which bumped our global supply from sub 1% to 30%, alongside other great policy. In fact, I think your question was disingenuous because 9 out of 10 people will not be able to tell you what a vice president does. I'm going to prove this to you with one simple question. Name one thing any vice president in American history has ever done.
Anything better than Kamala's ever done?
No, just anything that any VP in American history has ever done.
Kamala was in charge
Kamala
of the border.
is how you pronounce her name, but that's not the question that I'm asking you. Answer my question. Name one thing that any VP in American history has ever done. Do you need me to repeat it again? Don't worry, I will. Name one thing that any VP in American history has ever done. And he left. Okay. Well, you know, actually, I thank you so much for the music stage. Holy shit, Birdie, thank you. It's very kind of you. I said I was going to get off at 6 and somehow we fit another debate in there. We fit another debate in there. Let's fucking go. Okay. Matt just sent me a text saying, does my energy come bottled in a can? I need it. Bro, I'm not going to lie. I am feeling pretty energetic right now. Don't know why. I'm usually feeling like not energetic at all. Anyways, hey. For everybody that has joined us today on TikTok and YouTube, thank you guys so much for hanging out for the last 4 hours. It was fun. It was very, very fun. I'm going to go ahead and hop off because I got to go to a little bit of a party. For everybody in the chat spamming one more, I wish I could. Unfortunately, that last one will be the last one for the day. I love every single one of you guys so much, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow. You guys are the highlight of my day every single day. And also, by the way, my birthday is in exactly 1 week and 2 days. So I'm going to be celebrating that on live with y'all. I'm going to be on live the day before, obviously. That'll be fun because I'm going to go out that night. And then also the day of. The day of. Okay, September 1st. I'll be live the day of. I haven't missed a live on my birthday since I started doing these lives, and it's just a trend. Well, it's not a trend. Now it's like a tradition. It is a tradition for me to spend 4 or so hours on my birthday on live with y'all just because I love you so much. But I'm going to hop off. I will see you all tomorrow. Peace and love, everybody. Bye-bye.